Disclaimer. This video, like all videos featured on this channel, is definitely intended for mature audiences. This video is likely to contain profane language. Content is inappropriate for minors. Video is not for kids.
Welcome to the Dr. Greenthumb Show. Lord of mercy. How you doing?
Keep telling me I need help. It's the truth. Need lots of help. It's the Dr. Greenthumb Show live on YouTube, Twitch, Discord, and the home site, www.brealtv. What it do? Dr. Greenthumb to my right. The Concentrate King, Cali Blaze.
Happy New Year, everybody. This is my first show back.
Happy New Year, bro.
Happy New Year to you all and everybody out there.
In the treehouse, we got the treehouse crew, Bolton, Blombo, Bra Bra, and the Dominator.
Yo, what up, B? How you guys doing?
Oh, we good. We
Nice.
good. And we got the very funny comedian, John Stites, in the house.
What's happening, y'all?
What up, man?
Good to be here.
And we got Mr. Milligrams, E-Zone, in the building.
Man, I had a very RSO educational morning.
I bet you did.
Like, I feel like I can be Walter White of this new way of making it.
Mm-hmm. You gonna make it blue?
No, not blue, but I found this new tech on it hitting really hard, and I'm probably gonna be
Fading out?
I don't think once I get that tech done, I don't think you'd be ready for it.
Who, me?
Yeah, because this is like the way they broke it down, B. The way they broke it down is like, I'm like, all right, B-Real told me what put him down, but it's not like taking it in capsule form. This thing hits 10 times faster if you dilute it.
Okay, well, talk to me then.
No, I'm gonna bring it when I make it.
Oh, you're gonna bring it when you... Okay.
Yeah, it's
all
a
right,
tincture that they kind of showed me how to make it.
That seems great to me. Ken Flores will be joining us shortly. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned with that. But hey, John, I wanted to say, when I went to the Sunday smokeout at the Ice House, you were hilarious, bro.
Oh, Jesus, man. Thank you, dude. Thank you. That's very flattering, man.
The set was phenomenal. Blaze and I were there representing for Be Real TV, and Pedro too. I caught everybody's set. I got a chance to. I came in early and caught everybody's set. I believe so, right?
We did.
And man, hilarious. And the next one's coming up, right?
Yeah, we got one coming up this Sunday. So we're bringing Ken back. The great Paul Rodriguez, my boy's going to be there, which is always a good thing, always exciting. There you go. Nope, that's the older one.
Yep.
That's the old one.
Felipe.
That's the last
That
one.
was from the one.
Come on, Bolton.
Yeah.
Your uncle's here, and you can't even get it right.
And then another good friend of mine just asked me to jump on today, a guy named Jesus Trejo. I don't know if you know him. He's one of my favorites, man. He's funny as fuck. So, yeah, these shows have been a trip, man.
Yeah,
and
man.
couldn't have done it without you, dude. It's a big deal.
Thank you very much, man. Y'all, if you guys are in, Cali, or you want to make the trip down, come down and check that show. It's very hilarious. All the comedians killed. That was another thing I was gonna say, is that everybody killed that day. It was like, from homie who opened it to to everybody. Like Felipe was hilarious.
Yeah,
he always is. But
yeah, I put some thought into how I wanted the comics kind of there when I put together a lineup. I kind of want the energies to go up, 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 and I felt like we did that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Because everybody was. I mean, it was a pretty hysterical night, man. Everybody had a good time.
Well, before Ken gets here, I don't want to blow his young ass head up anymore, but man, that kid is a fucking monster.
Yeah,
that kid is like, I'm telling you, man. I've been producing shows in LA for about 10 years. He's one of a handful of dudes. The first time I saw him was at the end of a show I put together with Paul over at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood. Paul wound up just doing like an hour and a half. He's all fucked.
Yeah.
killed though, but just face fucked the whole crowd. Everyone's dead. And here's this nice kid from Chicago, hadn't said a word, just sat there politely, didn't ask for shit. And I walked up, I said, dude, I want to give you a spot, but I don't want to just like throw you up for 10 minutes at the end of it. Like, it'll be shitty. And he goes, I'll give it a fucking, dude, he CPR'd those motherfuckers back.
Nice.
And got a standing O.
That's dope.
Standing O.
When you have the ability to do that, man, that's something special. I hadn't seen him or heard of him before till that night.
Yeah,
and when
same.
when I heard his set, he was just
Killing.
Yeah.
like his whole vibe.
Yeah.
This is funny.
He's kind of got that. He's kind of got a Biggie vibe to him.
Yeah.
In terms of, I know that's weird for like a young,
And for a comic.
Yeah,
But that's a good,
Yeah.
I think that's a good account of it, is that he is like that. Yeah.
and he's from the hood, but he's not an LA dude. He's from the Chicago hood.
Yeah, he's from Chicago.
So his lingo's a little different. It's just enough to kind of make,
Yeah.
So yeah, I just watching that kid and watching him start to just sell out everywhere. He's booked this whole next year already. It's been great, man. It's been great.
What was crazy was watching the crowd after you do basically your whole bit in better Spanish than most of the people.
Oh yeah, your
That
Spanish
was
top
ridiculous,
notch.
man.
Thank
Like,
you.
Our resident white guy, he can't roll the R to save his life.
I used to be I'm talking about it tomorrow too, but I used to be a Spanish professor
Yep.
Yeah.
at IU. So
Yeah, and I remember you saying that in the set. I'm like, man, I am jealous.
Right? Spanish was pristine.
Yeah, our white
Really
guy can't
was,
do none
bro.
of that.
No way.
too pristine.
Yeah, it was
Sometimes
good.
I got to dirty it up a little bit. My
Yeah.
boys would be like, "Man, that's nobody knows what the fuck the subjunctive is, dude. Drop that shit."
But it was dope because you flipped from English to Spanish in the set, and that crowd was a lot of Mexican
They
and,
ate it
and
up.
Latinos,
Yeah.
and they ate it up.
Ate it up.
Yeah. Well, my first 5 years in stand-up, I've been doing this about 15 years. I did all black rooms.
Yeah.
Because word got out, like there's a white guy. He's not funny enough to be a threat, but he doesn't have roach jokes. He doesn't have bad credit jokes. He's not gonna step on any of your punchlines.
Right.
And it breaks it up because just pattern of thought. You get 3 people of the same socioeconomic. They're gonna have similarity of thought.
Yeah. And so jokes might be sort of similar.
Yeah, and just by happenstance. So
Yeah.
at first I was terrified, man, because the booker's this big booker. He'd been looking for a white dude to plug into black shows, but not like a yo white guy.
Yeah.
Just like a regular, just who grew up around black dudes and had shit to say about it. And at first it was terrifying, man, because I was just like, dude, what the fuck? I remember going out the first time. I was opening for John Witherspoon, man.
Oh, he was hilarious.
Oh, the best.
Rest in
the
peace.
best. The fucking.
Yeah.
I got some great stories working with that guy. He was such a gentleman to me. Kind of lost my fucking.
You were
train.
opening up for John Witherspoon.
And then I realized, man, like the bar is so low for a black crowd when you look like me that if you just don't step on your dick, they want you to not bomb, dude. They're
They're rooting for you.
yeah, they're like, dude, come on, man. And so then it started really working well. I started getting confident. People would ask me, like, are black shows hard? I'm like, they're actually the easiest, provided you have something in the very beginning that's a sledgehammer.
Yeah, you have to have that opening shot.
Because once you get them, and it's hilarious, man. I used to have this shirt I would sell that would say, control the population, go fuck yourself, which is a very white expression.
Right.
And I would sell T-shirts after the show, and these black headliners were so nice, man. Because they're not schlepping merch at this point in their career. Some guys don't want that. They want all the shine. These dudes would be like, go sell your merch. You're not making shit for money. They sometimes help you on stage. And the number of black dudes that would come up and hand me $20, I'd be like, what size you want? And they're like, nah, man, just it's for you. Just like, I don't want that fucking shirt, man. Keep doing your thing.
Giving you tips.
Yeah.
The bar, when it comes to that crowd, it depends where you're at. Like, I grew up in New York with the Apollo. Like, you go to the Apollo, there was no room. Like, you messed up a little, booed off the stage, chased off with the cane. Like, they were rough.
Yeah,
but
you ever seen them with the
they
keys?
love to laugh.
You ever seen them with the keys?
Of course.
Nobody told me that shit. So the first time that happened to me, so what they'll do is there's 3 steps. The first step is you hear a smattering of booze.
Yeah.
And if you don't get the hint and you just dig in, then they all get their keys out. And they all start, and you can't hear shit. And if you still don't get the hint, which I didn't, they just cut your fucking mic.
And then the guy with the cane comes.
That's right. With the
Pull your ass right down.
Yep.
I wish that would have been kinder than that fucking That don't happen me once.
They used to do rappers like that, but in a different way, right? If they liked you, if they didn't like you, they were throwing quarters and pennies at you and nickels and stuff. But if they liked you, they were throwing bills up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the trippy part about doing the Apollo as like a hip hop group from the West Coast. We were like nervous, like,
Yeah.
how's this gonna work out for us? Because we're not from here,
Right.
And the first couple dollar bills that came up, I was like, we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Kenny Flores up in here with us.
Hey, what's up, man?
Salute, my bro.
Thank y'all for having me, man. It's an honor, man.
Thank you for being here. That joint's for you in case you should want it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Definitely want it.
We were talking about, like your set that I caught. What was it, a month back at the Ice House?
About a month.
Yeah.
Man, you killed that, and it was my first time seeing you. You know what I mean? And I gotta say, man, like from opening shot to the finish, hilarious set, man.
Thank you, man. It means a lot coming from you, brother. It's yeah, man. That's when we try to do just like the best that I possibly can. Like I feel like it relates a little bit to your music. Like no time for weak bars and no time for bullshit.
Right.
Like gotta be hit after hit. You only get 10, 15 minutes sometimes, so you gotta make sure every minute counts.
Yeah, Matt was talking about like when he was doing the certain clubs, like you had to have that, like it's the opening shot.
Yeah.
You got like that first shot got to be it to win folks over. It's just like that first bar. Yeah.
Yeah, come in with a bang, man. I ain't gonna lie, brother. I thought you were him. I just realized you're not.
They're cousins.
Yeah.
My Spanish is good. Now you get me mixed up.
That's money, crap.
Yeah.
He got no Spanish.
Yeah.
And he's Puerto Rican. That's
Nice.
Then I wouldn't be able to
Crap
understand that shit anyway,
Not my
man.
pops.
Puerto Rican?
I wonder if the Puerto Ricans got like
Heavy
a word
slang.
for it,
Oh.
like the way Mexico has for us over here that are of Mexican descent. We might speak Spanish, we might not speak Spanish, but we're mostly called pochos, right? I'm wondering if Puerto Rico's got a word for y'all.
That don't speak Spanish, they'll
Yeah.
just call you a gringo. They don't
That's
care
it?
if you're Puerto Rican. Yeah, no. Definitely. Or a Yankee.
So I guess you're a Yankee.
A janky.
Yeah,
You could be a
janky.
He's a janky.
janky, man.
Not daddy janky, but
No, just
janky.
a janky.
Hey Ken,
Word up.
let me ask you something. Did you want to be a truck driver before or something?
Hell no.
Cause like food, like not for nothing, bro. Like I was like, you be picking on them fools with the CDLs, dog. Like just straight up every time I be seeing like 3 clips already, and then you just like straight up picking on these fools. I'm like, you got some beef with the CDLs, fools?
Hell yeah. Back home, most of the homies like that's a success story. For Latino coming up, you get your CDL, you basically made it out the hood. You feel me? You stack your bread, start your family and shit like that. I got my license revoked very early, so I never even had the opportunity to get a CDL. So that wasn't even in my fucking book. So when my homies started getting their CDL, I used to be like, man, that's fucking lame as fuck. And it became like a trend for me to just talk shit. Eventually, I did it at one of the shows, and I didn't realize how many people that came and supported me were truck drivers. So it almost became like a thing. I used to do it on my podcast, just dog on truck drivers, and then it became like kind of like it's like a fictional beef or whatever.
Right.
I just like to push the issue, and they're just like, man, fuck you, but they come and they show love, man.
That'd be crazy if you did a truck driver comedy tour.
That would be definitely a goal, something for them for sure. Because they're the ones that keep the world going round, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they got disposable income, tow truck drivers and regular truck drivers.
If you hustle, you make your money.
Yeah, a lot of these fools are the ones that go to that's why a lot of them are always down to party because they're like, it's just coke.
Dude, you ever and you can clown them, man, but have you ever seen them motherfuckers when
yeah.
they park?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Bro,
like
they're
it'll
pro.
literally
New York.
be a dude like that. I live right by that Ralph's on La Brea where they got that back. There's 3 loading docks, this much space on either side. Just be some fucking like 22-year-old Mexican dude just stop right in the
Whipping,
middle of the
bro.
whipping and literally just jackknife that motherfucker in the back and get out like nothing.
You think that's impressive?
That's incredible.
Go to New York City, bro, where you're in a city where, do you know, like, think of an 18-wheeler on these one-ways and narrow, like, they have no room. You want to talk about real truck drivers, you're like,
Well, most of the truck
holy
drivers that are in
moly.
NYC, they're coming either from or to California too. Like
Sure,
they got to
of
deal
course.
with that 10 and up that 95, and then
Yep.
deal with the city.
That's it.
Man, that's how New Yorkers be, man. These motherfuckers
Crazy.
can't shut the fuck up about how New York's the
But, bro,
best.
no, it's not even the
Nah,
best.
you want to see
Yo,
a truck driver? You got to
True.
come to New
Go
York.
in this city. LA, we got wide ass
I'm just
streets.
playing,
It's
man.
true.
Yeah, it's true.
No,
it's
real.
for sure, man.
Yeah, now Chicago is the same way because we got
Yep.
like those bridges that are very low. So especially new drivers. drivers that they barely got their CDO, their permit, I always see them peel their shit back. You just see the whole fucking ceiling of the truck just shake
Oh
off.
yeah, hey, there's some inexperienced, some motherfuckers that should not be driving. Look,
Yes.
I was rolling through Texas on a solo tour with Busy Bone. You know, we were rolling in a van on this one because all the flights were short and all the drives were short because it was just a run through Texas, right? And as we're driving down the highway, there's this diesel truck that's like, you know, usually probably carries gravel and shit like this, right? The bed was up instead of flat flush, right? As he rolls, boom, he hits this underpass, knocks his fucking pole over, wires come through. They smash on our windshield, bro. Almost took our driver out, and man, it's the craziest shit. But you know, my father and brother, you know, my father, rest in peace, was a truck driver. He could whip the truck around.
Yeah.
My brother still drives to this day, but like some motherfuckers should not be driving. Homeboy, when we pulled over, right? He pulls over and he says, "What happened? Your goddamn back was jacked up." And when he came up, the biggest thing wasn't like that. You know, he caused all this shit. He came up and he looked like he was a Scante warrior, dog. like he had like 2 teeth.
Yeah.
And then an eye patch.
Oh,
like,
wow.
what the fuck are you driving? What are you doing, man? He got up in that truck and bolted before state troopers or whatever they are in Texas came through and got his ass for that because he backed up traffic for like 3 hours with that shit.
It's probably tweaked out too with that pirate.
Oh yes, he was definitely tweaking. It's like, man, if you got an eye patch on with one eye, I don't
Should
know.
be
if
driving a
that's
truck.
that's the. And he was rolling with that shit, man. We barely saw it happen. We just sort of looked to the side because he was in this lane, and then the damage.
Probably
bro.
where he hit the crack behind that eye.
Hey, you
Well,
know,
and there are,
They might
do as many. I don't know if you know anything about that world, but do as many of them do crank? Well, that's
They used
Not
to.
anymore. They
Not
test
anymore. Yeah.
They do.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they used to like.
You have
so-
to be methed up because they
Yeah.
drive
Now
for 3
you
days.
can't.
Well, now-
they're
yeah.
logs. You can't, like, they're electronic logs too.
Okay.
So, like, they'll literally shut your truck down where you can't start it. Like,
Yeah,
you
truck-
pull over, they have control of your.
Yeah, like truck drivers and tour bus drivers now, the technology on the trucks and buses is to make sure that they stop at the 8 hours or whatever
Yeah.
is logged into each driver. Each driver has their time logged in. And so when you go punch your code into that bus, it'll only start if you had this certain amount of hours of rest, and it'll shut down at at that 8 hours. The minute like you pull over to stop for something, it's gone shut
I
down.
meant to, like, all the years you were touring, did you ever get in a bus and just be like, man, I don't know anything about this motherfucker that's driving? Or was it through
Yeah.
one company? Did you just ever have that thought, like, who is this? Would you ever just go talk to the dude?
We
Just, like,
try- you know-
smell his breath at least.
The first tour, we didn't really care. We were partying on
for
the
sure.
back of the bus. We were like tossing up 40s and smoking up blunts. We were like totally oblivious to trusting the guy driving us. Most of the time, you know, in the early days, it was like someone telling us, "Hey, man, you can't be smoking in the bus." We're like, "Fuck you! We paid for the bus. We're gonna smoke, and you're gonna deal with it." And they would have to leave the tour because they couldn't handle. You know, there was no partition there. There was only a fucking curtain. You know what I mean? So he's getting like blazed. So we would have to deal with, you know, more or less tour drivers leaving and having to wait for another driver to come take over the bus who was cool with the partying. And then we finally started getting to know the bus drivers so that they were cool with us, and we'd like, you know, chip them off some weed or like, you know, tip them to where, you know, they were like, "Hey, these guys are all right. Yeah, you could party on my bus anytime."
That's the irony. Then it seemed like at that point you would actually need a stoner. It's like Denzel in Flight. Like,
Right.
you need the motherfucker who's fucked up
Right. You need
to
the
do this.
You
he
need
got
the
the
guy.
tolerance.
Yes, you need the guy with the tolerance to drive us. Otherwise, you're gonna be pulling over more than you should. We had this one guy we called Billy Ray Cypress, right? He was like a country dude who was a bus driver, right? And he was new to it. And as soon as he got on our bus, first drive, we're smoking, and he's like, "I think they're following us, guys. I think there's a black van back there, and they're logging what we're doing. I think y'all need to stop smoking." And then he would only drive like the speed limit. He wasn't like, you know, trying to, like other drivers, they'd step on it because they're trying to get from A to B quick. This This fucking guy was so paranoid. He thought we were being followed. Man, we were like, hey, we need another driver. This fucking guy ain't it. Man, and then, we were waiting for him one morning on the bus. We were like, the lobby call was 7 in the morning. This fucker didn't show up till 11. We're like, we pay you, dude. What the fuck? And
You're professional.
Yeah. I don't think he lasted too much longer.
Hey, Ken, you were this last year was your first year. If not, you put up that you were actually touring, no?
Yeah.
How's that experience been like for you? Like, considering that, is it been scary? Because people bring you like gifts at the end of every show, especially like if you're as popular as you are. They got hella gifts, and some of those gifts they come through, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, like, by gifts, you mean drugs. Yeah, I usually leave every show with some fucking drugs. That's the thing. I like it was my first year touring, but it was my first year touring ever. So I was touring as a feature, so like an opener. So I did like sprinkle in some headlining dates where I went, I was able to line up my pockets and whatnot. But this year, 2024, is my first year as I'm going as my own headlining tour, a tour put together by my agency and management. So this is my first official tour called Sorry for the Wait. Yeah. Wait as in spelled like wait. And then, but last year was insane just because luckily for me, my following was already growing as I'm opening up for the homie Renee Vaca, shout out Renee. And so like people, I have a few videos go viral. Some of them, my first few videos that went viral were about cocaine. So people would come, like I would bring all the cokeheads out to my shows, and I'm doing the meet and greet, and I'm literally shaking hands, and every other, I'm not gonna say everybody, but let's do a bump, Holmes. Let's say there's 300 people in the audience, and 150 stay on for the meet and greet. At least 20, 25 of them will have a little sack for me, or offer me a little bump. So I'll get back to my hotel room or to the after party, wherever the fuck we go after the show, and I'm like a kid on Halloween, just emptying my pockets. I
got a brick on you.
Sacks everywhere, bro. Like. Really, I could have got the flipping all that shit, but
all treats, no tricks.
For real, for all treats, man. But I mean, and at the beginning was like, it's free. I'm doing all of this shit, Then eventually, when the shit started to get more serious, comedians started dying off that fentanyl shit, and people around me were like, "You can't do all the coke you get." You feel me? Like, you're just playing with the devil at that point. So I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna chill out." So unless I'm really fiending, I'll do some shit that was given to me for free. If not, I gotta see you have hit that shit first, and then I'll be like, all right, let me see.
That's a smart move.
Yeah.
You smoking weed now, right? Mostly, right?
Yeah, weed now mostly, and trying to chill on the drinking too. Just because I mean, it's that should take. I'm already a big motherfucker, so just traveling alone is a lot for me. So now traveling while drunk, hungover, paranoid, toperiqueado, all that, I can't do that, bro. Like sometimes I'll go like days without sleeping and just hit city to city to city to city. Then I'll fucking collapse in my hotel room, you feel me, just because I'm so tired and off the shits.
What was the moment you realized you were a comedian?
Realized I was a comedian?
Yeah.
As far as like a stand-up comic, probably like as soon as the first time I tried stand-up comedy, I have a very addictive personality, as you can tell. I'm a big guy. I'm addicted to food. I'm addicted to everything I try, and I'm mildly I'm gonna do it forever, So I got my first few laughs the first time I ever did an open mic, probably 2018, and I got just enough laughs that I knew that I would never be able to live my life without performing again.
Right.
Even if I didn't make no money off of it, even though if I didn't make a living, even though I didn't make it.
You got bit by that bug.
I knew that I would be a comedian forever. Even if I was, a lost cause or whatever, even if I sucked, I knew that I'd have to be able to get on stage because I'm addicted to it. Like if I go 2-3 days without doing stand-up, I start fiending, I start itching,
Was it a dare on the open mic or is it something you just wanted to do?
It was ego, bro, because when I was younger, like when I was like 15, people in LA, there was like the super ego guy who used to make videos like Cholos Be Like, or like the first few YouTube videos that went viral, like funny comedy skits or whatever. And I kind of was like, oh, I could get in on this. I was like 15, I was just talking shit into an iPod. I had a few videos go viral. They went on World Star Hip Hop. So I got like a taste of like the internet stardom kind of thing, like viral before viral was even a thing. And then, but then I started, I worked, started drinking, partying, hanging out with the wrong people. I didn't give a shit about the internet. I didn't care about being creative or anything like that. And it wasn't until like when I was kind of like 18, 19, when I realized I was like, I'm working at a warehouse and I'm like, man, I need to do I need to do something with my life. Like I'm just in debt, you know, just being a piece of shit every weekend. I'm blowing my money on drugs and alcohol. I need to do something with my life. And I was working. At this point, I had quit the warehouse. I got lucky enough to get a job as a teller, a bank teller at a bank. And there was this guy who owned like a C-level comedy club back home. And he would come in there. We'd have interactions every time he'd come make a deposit or whatever. And he's like, man, you're funny, man. He's like, you're funny. You need to come check out my open mic. Come check it out. Come check it out. Jump on, whatever. And I think one of those days I was like, you know what, fuck it. I ain't got shit to do. I'm going to go watch. So I went to watch, and I watched like 40 comedians go up and do their little 5 minutes, and they all sucked, bro. I was like, these motherfuckers are trash. So it was a little bit of ego on my end, like thinking I'm better than them. You know what I'm saying?
You already knew.
Yeah, and then I went up, and then you find out you're not better than them, and it's not as easy as you think. and it's a very humbling experience. But I did just well enough that kept me going, you know. And then eventually you put in the work. You sit down, you write, you work. And Chicago's got a killer scene, so you're forced to become a killer because you don't want to be the motherfucker that tanked the show. Yeah. You feel me? So it's like I had no other option but to get better and shit. I mean, and luckily for me, this last year, you know, because of the internet, we're able to adapt to what's new and shit. I was able to kind of blow up, you know, in my own way, and it's kind of shit. It's kind of like it's kind of fast. It's coming kind of fast. This is only my 5th year as a comic. Most comedians like start barely at this point to get booked in their local scene, you know, or start to even get good. So for me to be all the way in fucking LA, you know, doing podcasts with Be Real. It's kind of fucking crazy.
Well, all right.
That's what I was gonna. So I started in Indianapolis, and I don't know if y'all know Miss Pat.
Yeah.
That crazy motherfucker had just come from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And she wasn't polished like she is now, dude. She was the rawest shit anyone had ever seen.
Yeah.
I used to have to follow her, dude. When I just started as like a white dude, still with a corporate job, man, it was brutal. But I was gonna ask, is Bert still at Zanies? Did you ever do Zanies?
He wouldn't book me at Zanies when I first started.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah,
so when did you know, like, because what impressed me about you is for a young dude, you could have stayed for a couple years and milked that easy Chicago money. But instead of doing that, when did you go, fuck this, I'm making a jump, I'm a fucking headliner, even though I'm young as fuck, I still got, you know, I haven't done stand for a long time. That's what impressed me about you, that you had the balls to come out here that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it was a misunderstanding more than anything, the way I ended up out here. But as far as like the headlining, I never told myself I'm ready to headline. It was more so the producers that would be like, nobody wants to follow you. They're like, nobody wants to follow you, so you have to headline. So I'll be like, fuck, now I got to have that pressure to be a headliner.
Yeah.
And then again, these people are killers, so they're going up murdering, and I got to be, 3 years less than them experience and still go up and do better than them, or else they're going to be like, who the fuck is headlining? Why does he suck? Why is the opener better? So I had to kind of like lock in myself to become a headliner. So then they always say you're never really ready for something. You just got to jump in this shit. And then you kind of get ready in the process, you know?
Yeah.
So I jumped in there and I started headlining in 2000, I'd probably say 2019, 2020, right around when COVID started going away, like halfway through 2020. I mean, it didn't go away till like 2021 or whatever, but like halfway through 2020, people started to have like backyard shows and shit like that. So I just kind of went hard. Like when COVID, people in Chicago, they're very progressive. So a lot of people were like, I'm not going to do comedy for 5 years. Like, what's the rush of doing comedy? So I looked at it as like, fuck y'all, this is an opportunity for me to do all the shows.
Yeah.
So I took all the opportunities that people weren't doing. I was like, give me that shit, give me that. And then I got seen very quickly. And then I started, me and my roommate, since we weren't working, we're in COVID and shit, I was like, well, let's start to put out some content. Me and my roommate had moved in together to do podcast content, podcast clips. And when I started seeing people like Ralph Barbosa or Renee Vaca blow up with their stand-up clips, I was like, you know what? Fuck the podcast. Let's shift to the stand-up. And then once we get to stand-up, because I want to be a stand-up comedian. I don't want to be a podcaster turned comedian, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, once I get this comedy shit popping, then I know the people that follow me and fuck with me will fuck with the podcast, you know? So I kind of dropped the podcast, focused on comedy. It only took me like 2 TikToks or 2, reels, Instagram reels to go viral. So they kind of went viral right away. So
That's awesome.
That's talent.
Fuck, like now,
Yeah.
now
That's
it's
undeniable talent.
and then it's just like, now I got to keep pushing it out because I don't want to water it down either. I don't want to become mediocre because I'm too thirsty to go viral, So I'm still like, it's just pushing me to write more, write better, and make sure that my last shit is better than my new shit is better than my last shit.
That's always the thing. Your new shit's got to be as good as your last.
Yeah, and you're only as good as your last project or whatever, you know? So then as far as moving out here, Me and Renee Vaca linked up in Chicago in November of 2022.
Is he from Chicago?
He's from LA. He's from Van Nuys.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he's
Nice
from
Valley.
the Valley, yeah. And then, but he was coming out to Chicago because he had a relationship with the Laugh Factory. So the Laugh Factory was like, all right, we'll give you a date back in Chicago. And he had a decent following, you know, so we worked together twice. And then the second time we worked together, my following had already kind of grown as well. So me and him got real cool. And he told me, he's like, you know what? I'm going to bring you to LA. And instead of opening up for me, we're going to co-headline a show at the Ha Ha Comedy Club in North Hollywood. And then we'll break bread in half. That way you can have a little lump sum of cash. And I had never made money like that. And I remember coming to the Ha Ha. We booked the shows in January, January 29th and January 30th of this past year, 2023. And after the shows, he gave me $4,000 in all 50s. And I remember I had never had that much money in my hand, especially after doing like clean work, you know, like I worked for this shit, you know. So from that moment, I started going on the road with him to feature, and then right around like in April, he was like, I was starting to get like spots at the Improv, spots at the store, spots at the Laugh Factory, and I was like, I need to be in LA to be seen, you know. That's the only way I'm gonna get agents and management and kind of move forward. Because I mean, even in Chicago, even though the internet seems like it seems like all you need is the internet, you still gotta show face, man, because people don't know who the fuck you are. It doesn't matter how funny you are, you know.
Internet famous is not what people think it is. You got to actually go and do the work and show face and all and do those processes and all that's necessary to actually solidify what you're doing.
Exactly, and it's almost like working backwards, because now you coming into a room and people are already bitter because they're like, oh, it's the TikTok kid or it's the the Instagram kid.
Yeah.
But then you go up and you do a set like the one we had at Ice House where you're killing from front to back, and now you just kind of earn their respect. You know, I don't really like to do too much talking and I'm the best, but I'll do the work and then you tell me how good I am. You feel me? So from there, Renee was like, come out to LA, let's get our own apartment together. And then we'll tour from the house. I was like, all right, fuck it. And then right around the same time, he was going through like some personal stuff, with his wife and stuff. Point is, they ended up getting back together, getting their own place. So then when I moved out here, I was renting a room from my uncle in San Fernando Valley, and I was like, fuck, like I'm kind of stuck now, because I can't go back. I already lost my lease got wrapped up in Chicago, and I don't got no home in Chicago. I don't got no home here, but I'm renting this room. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write it out, for a few months, and I'm gonna pay my uncle his rent, $500 to rent a room, and I'm gonna do these spots that I'm getting booked for in Hollywood. Probably like about a month later, I already had every agency blowing my phone up, every management company blowing my phone up. I took all the meetings within the same week, and I got signed by my management and my agents in the same week. It only took me like a month. People that come out, and I never came out here looking for that. I just came out here to have the honor to work at the Ice House. I'm a true comedy fan, so for me to just be able to walk in that building and be like, damn, like legends started here. You know what I'm saying? And me to be here is a blessing.
Who were some of your favorite comics?
I mean, my favorite comics growing up is people like Felipe Esparza.
Yeah,
hilarious. Old school fluffy stuff. I mean, Patrice O'Neal, Cat Williams. I mean, I like all kinds of people from different demographics and everything, but just people that are raw and uncut. That's Pimp Chronicles 1 by Cat Williams is my favorite special of all time.
That was a classic.
And for him to see somebody who leave it all on stage just like that, is something that I aspire to be. Like no room for bullshit. You watch that special, you're laughing from the intro to the fucking end of the credits. You're laughing.
Yeah, he's relentless with his shit.
Yeah, so I just want to be one of the best, but I love comedy, so even if the money didn't come with it, I still want to be one of the best. No time for mediocre shit,
No bullshit. What was it like doing an arena for fucking Fluffy, bro?
I mean, it was.
Don't lie, like keep it real. When you walked out, were you nervous? Were you just like?
For sure. Like the thing is that my whole day, like I couldn't sleep the day before. Just because I was so excited, because
not nervousness.
Not only
I saw that picture, dude. That shit was fucking epic.
Well, not even only the arena, but he also put me on his jet. So I had never flown private before. I mean, that's some shit that's rapper's lifestyle shit. You feel me? Like I'm not. So just for me to pull up to the private airport, people ask me what the fuck I'm doing there. I'm like, oh, I'm with Gabriel. They're like, okay, then. They offer you coffee, they offer you cookies and shit. Treat you real different than flying with the G4 all the way to Chicago, landing in Chicago, then having paparazzi wait for you as you're coming off the plane. Obviously not for me, but for him. So just watching him get off the plane, I was like, God damn, we get into his tour bus, because his tour bus is already waiting for him next to the plane. You don't even gotta walk nowhere. Go straight into the bus, and then just taking his bus into like the arena, you know, where like the Chicago Bulls come in through, where Michael Jordan, you know, won his crown, you know, like it's legendary arena. You know, we've been there for concerts, basketball games, but now I was gonna be like, I'm performing in this shit.
That's crazy.
20,000 people, you know, so
In your backyard.
in my backyard, my parents went, you know, like my dad used to give me rides to Gary, Indiana, or to perform for 4 people. You feel me? And 2 of them were working at the club.
Were there any hoes from back in the day wouldn't give you no play and you're like,
Man, for sure.
did you hit them up and go, hey?
Now, bitches was in the 300 section.
That's what I'm saying. Tell them.
I know him. No, you don't, bitch.
We went to school together. Remember?
I'm getting that now.
Oh,
Crazy.
man.
People are just kind of like, oh, man, I'm from his hometown. I remember we kicked it one time, and it's just like,
no, you didn't.
that's cool to see, though. You know, it's like, damn, like people are fine. I don't know. I always felt like I was a disappointment for a long time to my family, and I would never think that people would brag to know me. You know what I'm saying? So all that shit is just kind of life changing, and I'm taking it all in little by little. The thing is, again, with the internet, this shit moves so fast. Like you gotta not only stay hungry, stay fresh, and stay writing, but you also gotta be able to embrace it and soak it in, because shit might all be over next year. You know, you never know. Like we don't know how fast this shit's gonna blow over. Like the people that became viral over TikTok and Instagram, like because
You got to sustain it.
yeah, you gotta sustain it, and I want longevity in this shit. So I'm not trying to burn out, but at the same time, I'm trying to enjoy it. So I mean, yeah, as far as the performance itself was amazing. It was a little bit different because it's not like a club. So you got 20 people, 20,000
You gotta
people
wait.
laughing.
You gotta wait for the laugh to go in and come out like a tsunami.
Yeah, that delay that happens.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now I was kind of salty because my 10 minutes set, you don't want to go over time either because you don't want to disrespect, you know, Gabriel. So I had to do my 10 minutes. So 2 jokes that I had planned on doing, like my closers, I didn't even get to do them.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? The set went well enough. And then after, what meant to me the most was after the show, my parents were in the audience. Fluffy brings me back out, and the people are going crazy. The cameras are out now because the show's over, so everybody's got their flash on. So you're just looking at an arena full of flash pointing at you.
Dope.
And he brings me up to stage, and he's like, you know what? 20 years ago, I started a comedy, and I wish that my mentor, my idol, would have done this with me, but he didn't. But I'm here to do it for him because
That guy's
he
the
deserves
best.
it.
That's
You
dope.
know,
He's so fucking cool, dude.
He's like, Ken is the future. He basically stamped me in my own city, and not only that, my parents don't speak English. He looked at my parents from the stage, and in Spanish, he told them, he's like, hey,
dude.
Oh, man.
Flores,
Damn,
crazy.
that's
Incredible.
crazy.
that your son's incredible. So that really won. More than performing, more than the jet, more than anything, just for my dad to get told one-on-one in an arena that his son is incredible.
Jesus.
I was waiting for them at the tunnel, like when the show was over, so they're gonna walk through the tunnel. And I just remember seeing my dad for the first time, like with his eyes watery, like finally proud, you feel me? I was like, damn. It took a long fucking time, but shit.
That's a good
We
feeling,
here.
man.
Gave me goosebumps. It didn't even happen to me.
Yeah.
That was good.
That's like a Pepsi commercial right there, dog.
I feel inspired.
Or what was- yeah, man, that's dope. You know, because you made all the right choices to get to that moment. You know, like taking the chance on yourself, leaving the comfort zone in Chicago to like come take a chance out here, and then like putting all the right work in, man, and being in the right places at the right time.
And also to give you some props, man, not to make that big ass head any bigger, but when you put a show together, what starts to happen is comics will walk in and they'll look at the lineup. And you'll notice there'll be one particular comic that nobody wants to follow, but they got too much ego to say it. So they come in, they're like, oh, hey, man, can I go third? And you see Ken sitting number 2. You're like, So then I just put him right after.
If hip hop had rules like that, you would see a lot of people changing slots like that because they don't like it's the same thing. Doing shows with other artists where they see who's on the bill, they're like, oh, I gotta go on after them. Oh hell no! Look, can I switch? And usually you can't. So that's a cool thing. You guys can, but that's got to be a lot of pressure though. Like when he was saying earlier that like you went from like coming on and then becoming a headliner and like having that pressure to headline, knowing that there's killers in front of you. You know what I mean? That's a different kind of pressure, but I think you handled that well, man. Like to be in the position you're in, you didn't fold. That's for sure.
Yeah, nah, hell, you can't. You know, and then sometimes like I'm here now. It's too late for that shit. Like now I gotta see this shit through. And it's like again, like I feel like Chicago trained me for that. At the same time, it's like I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta believe in yourself. And even if it doesn't go as planned, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna say every single time I've had to follow somebody, I've been able to shut it down. No, there's been times where I've been shut down. where it's just I just can't match the energy. Sometimes, like, I've done a show with Fab Monroe in Chicago, shout out to her, where she's like a 35-year-old black woman, and we did a show for like all Puerto Ricans in Humboldt Park, and all the demographic was mostly 35-year-old to 40-year-old ladies. So she goes up there, she's doing like fuck my husband jokes, so they're relating on a different level.
Yeah.
So they're out of breath laughing. So then I go on stage, I try to do fat jokes, and they're just like, nah. I'm like, like we don't relate to that. Like,
Was
like,
that
it's
the
funny,
hardest?
but
Was
it
that the
ain't-
hardest show right there that you had to do?
Hell yeah, because at that point, like
Those are
at that point,
brutal.
I was already about to kind of come out here, and I had already done some road gigs. So as I kind of started to walk around like, oh, I'm the shit. Like I got this. This is, and I grew up in Humboldt Park, like in the north side of Chicago. So it's like I'm home. These people are Latino. They're not Mexican, but they're Puerto Rican. I grew up around nothing but Puerto Rican. So I'm like, this is my people.
Yeah.
But then having her just murder. Yeah, I'm talking about, I'm watching her from the back. I'm watching ladies get up and step outside because they can't fucking breathe. So that made me nervous. So by the time I'm on stage, I was sweating bullets. And it's just like, I'm looking down. I'm not, at this point, my confidence is fucked up. And this is not that long ago, you feel me? So it's like, comedy is very humbling. You find out quickly. Some people who think they're the best, they might just have an off night. And I just did I don't want to drop any names, but I just did a show in Montebello where it was 4 of us, 4 really funny comedians. And the one that went last, I think it was just too late in the show, and he ended up getting booed off stage. So, and he's
man.
a killer. He's a killer.
Yeah.
Killer every single time he performs, he kills. But it was just, it was just that time and setting. Sometimes you get set up and.
That's another reason I like comics so much, is because it's so humbling. Comics are overwhelmingly the nicest. Even the big names you meet, like the military stuff I do, I'll be just opening up for a big name. They're all so fucking cool, man.
What was your hardest gig that you had to do?
I followed Bill Burr.
Oh, you had to follow Bill Burr.
I had to follow Bill Burr at the Comedy Store in the belly room, where there was like this. That place only seats about 80, and there were probably 15 like militant lesbian women, just man hate. You know what I'm saying? Like not there for any of the guys with dicks, just angry. And Bill went up, didn't know it, just dropped in to do a guest spot. And the minute he found out he had some hostile he just
leaned in,
fired up the chainsaw, and just head's gone. And then right after that, he just fucking nukes the whole crowd, shits all over him, murders, gets a standing O from the heteros.
Nice.
And now John Stites, another bald white dude who's at 1/1000th as good as Bill, who also has what sounds like, misogynistic shit. Dude, I just ate a bag of dicks, man. It was horrible.
Oh, man.
It was horrible. Ugh.
That it's all relatable. Like in hip hop, that happens. You know what I mean? You have this great ass lineup and shit, and the headliner is set up for a kill.
Yeah.
Right. But if they don't got the show, or maybe sometimes it's a weird thing with the crowd where they're just really subdued and chill, and you're up there as the headliner, like, damn, I just ate shit right now. But what the crazy thing is that you're thinking you ate shit, right? And you walk off, and then somebody comes, hey man, that was an awesome set,
dude.
Right? That's had to happen to you, where you guys thought, fuck, did they resonate, and then they come to you after that.
That just happened to me about a month ago. I did a benefit. So Deontay Wilder's wife, it's not a name drop. It's just I do this thing where I'll take comics out to the Mojave Desert, because I know the Army out there. I was in the Army. And they'll bring Black Hawk helicopters to Burbank Airport, pick us up, go out into the Mojave, we play guns and shit, and then bring them back. So I met not only Deontay, but his wife, Telly. Do you know Telly Swift?
Yeah.
So anyway, she hits me up. She's really nice, not like a friend or nothing, but we got along. She hits me up like a month ago. She goes, hey, there's a benefit for this Senegalese, I hope I'm getting that right. Senegal, it's an African charity where they donate shoes to kids in Africa. And it's Akon, Serge Ibaka, and fucking Michael Blackson.
Oh, man.
And I go, this is John Stites, right? So I get there, I agreed to do the gig. Michael Blackson was smart enough to not show up.
Yeah.
That pink suit motherfucker was like, nah, for no money? No.
He was out of it.
So I get there, and I hope I'm not talking too much.
No.
Oh, cool, man. I don't want to
perfect.
Dominate. So it's a giant ballroom in the super fancy Armenian Cultural Center in Hollywood. And the dance floor is cut out. It's never put together by a fucking comic. So I get there, not only you know, do you have Mr. fucking January 6th and Wakanda Forever crowd?
Yeah.
Because, you know, Africans and brothers are different.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend who's black, you saw her, I go, hey, I'm doing a show. She goes, oh, it's going to be great. And like a day before I see the flyer, I send it to her and she calls me immediately and she goes,
You got airflow this time on this, in this room.
All right.
Real.tv.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. All right, we were in the middle of.
so there's a giant dance floor cut out. So everyone's around the edges in this giant ballroom. And I think I'm bombing. But Paul Pierce, these aren't names. I don't know these people. They're just
That's
at the
name
party.
dropping.
But fucking Paul Pierce is laughing. But no one else, I can't hear anything. And
Right.
I'm like, I'm eating a dick for free.
You've done a lot of
In
dick
front
eating
of
in
a
these
black-
stories.
You're fucking.
New York.
Yeah, I'm not sure how hard to go in. That's the other thing about being
Oh,
a
that
first
doesn't
time
help.
guest.
How hard to go in? That's, whoa.
He's like one of them Baptist
man.
pastors who's so anti-gay. You're like, he's for sure gay. No, I'm just playing. But I thought I was bombing, and it turned out that I was doing great. I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
So
You
I couldn't hear
read
him
it.
laughing. Yeah, so I got angry, and I started shitting on him and going, you know what, man, fuck you motherfuckers, man. I really got angry. And then they started loving that shit. I go, man, I'm fucking dealing with you motherfuckers on a Tuesday for no money. And then they all started laughing. I was like, oh, and then I literally go, were you guys enjoying yourselves? They're like, yeah, dude, you were doing great. I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry, man. Fuck, my bad.
Oh man, misreads.
And then Michael Blackson got up. He did a hot minute and a half, and then thank you, good night. Got the fuck off.
He's funny as hell, though.
Oh,
yeah, he
a
kills.
killer.
Yeah,
Funny,
man.
man.
I opened for him in Tampa, and he took a dude's phone away. A guy was filming, and in the front row.
Was he not supposed to? Was no.
Yeah, you're never supposed
Right.
to do that. And Michael Blackson told him twice. He goes, hey, man, and this dude was filming. He literally reached down, snatched the dude's phone up.
Good.
And the guy goes, give me my fucking phone. He goes, fuck you. You have my property. Now I have yours.
Oh yeah,
I
true.
mean,
It was
that's-
brilliant. He's
it
like,
is.
this is
True
my
that.
property that you're
Right.
stealing. Now fucking steal yours. And I
True
was
that.
like,
You know, I noticed most like Chappelle shows, like when he does his stand up or Chris Rock and even Kevin Hart, they'll have people bag their phones
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
come up. And I think that's brilliant because you don't want to give away the material that somebody's going to be coming to see. They could see it
Yeah.
like just on.
Because you got to use it for the whole tour.
You got to use
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And if it gets out there, it sort of burns the
It does.
material. You know, so like I don't mind that. I'll bag my phone because I don't want to be like this watching the show. I want like the jokes to resonate.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you guys ever have people bag the phones or
Yeah,
you
what's
guys
like
cool?
with you being from a younger generation? How do you
I mean,
how do you look at it?
I mean, no, because that comes out of pocket. So for them to do,
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
Economically,
yeah, like they do arenas. So, you know, you got 15,000 people, 15,000 bags.
That's a lot.
Probably going like even at $1 a bag.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
like 50
I love where his
grand,
head's
You
at.
feel me? Like, so no, I mean, I'm not pulling in 15,000 people, but even 300, I'm not gonna pay $300 for 300 bags. Fuck that. And we usually people are respectful. All you got is a communication. You tell them, hey, please don't pull out your phone, don't record. You know, at the end we'll take pictures, whatever. And typically people are good at that. You know, people are good at that. Of course, some people get away with it. You know, they'll sneak a picture. You'll see it online, but it's never anything where like I think when you let people know don't do it, then nobody's out like this. You know.
Yeah.
So even if something does get out, you're talking about a low quality video that's
Yeah.
maybe 30 seconds long. Like,
They had to hide it.
is that really
Yeah.
gonna make a is that really gonna make a difference on your set? Like, it's not gonna be anything that's gonna be life threatening or gonna mess your finances up because you're trying to get that on a special. I don't think it's that big of a deal. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
You guys, in one of your shows, you got to get E-Zone involved. I don't know if you know.
I did. I had him on at
good.
the. I had him on at the
We need
left.
to do
The
First one, dog.
Yeah, the left
Yeah.
factor. Yeah, he went up, man.
Nice.
Did his thing. And
John ain't called me since
Wow.
motherfucker, I was hitting you up.
to come on the show.
You believe the ball? This motherfucker, dude, you literally sat here I sat next to you for 15 minutes, motherfucker. You didn't even look my way.
Oh, you remember me now?
Yes. I remember them. I remember them hand tattoos.
I was like, forgetful John is his name now.
Oh, man.
This
Damn.
motherfucker, man. All right, you know
Damn.
what? I'm gonna have you out. I'm
There
gonna put
you
you up
go.
right after Ken.
Oh, man.
We gonna see, motherfucker.
They go think we're related.
I love it when podcasters try stand up.
So that's my little cousin.
No, you did fucking good. Remember me telling you that, man? You had a good ass set, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You were nervous, but
How hard is it to put that show together? Like any comedy show, though. You know what I mean? Because I imagine just like with rap shit, you got to deal with, are they going to show up? Right?
actually, man, I think what I found is that comedy is so mainstream now. It's a business, and people know it, and they know there's real money to be made. And I find people to be overwhelmingly professional, on time, pretty sober. I mean, it ain't. You remember back in the '80s and shit, that comics snorting coke, falling off stage. You really don't see that because there's like an expectation where clubs don't even want to work with fucking. It's just not a
Right.
good look to be all hammered on stage.
Yeah.
But you're always a little worried when sometimes a motherfucker shows up a little bit late.
Yeah.
But that's why you have people like Ken or somebody who can stretch. Who you have him on to do 15, but if he needs to do an hour,
You ever had to freestyle a joke? Like maybe you forgot the writing and you had to freestyle it?
Yeah, especially when we do, like, if we're doing 3 spots a night, you know. Sometimes I'm telling a joke and then I'll freeze, like, did I already tell this here? Or did I tell it at the last show? So then now you fucked up your timing, your cadence. So now you finish the joke and they don't laugh because they're like, well, why did he stumble? But then you're like, did they not laugh because I already said that one? Like, it kind of fucks you up a little bit. But, I mean, as far as going back to I've had to freestyle a lot. I love to do it because I like to think that I'm pretty quick. And now that in LA, it was a little bit difficult for me just because I felt like every time I showed up to a club in LA or in Hollywood, I had to do my best because I didn't know who was watching.
Right.
But once I got my agents, once I got my management, I was like, you know, I got the industry side of shit. So now I can have a little bit more fun with it. So then I can start building my new hour. So right now, I'm not as nervous as I used to be anymore. And as far as putting shows together and stuff, in Chicago, it was like a club like the Laugh Factory is like the mecca of comedy in Chicago, you know? So when I was producing the Latino nights at the Laugh Factory in Chicago right before I moved out here, everybody that you booked, especially a Latino, that don't really get the opportunities to perform at these clubs, you know, on a weekend or whatever, they would definitely be happy, responsible, show up early, and I never had an issue with people not coming, you know? I would have extra people come in case one of them didn't show up. They were praying for that they went up, you feel me? And out here in California, I feel like since we all now are more busier, you know, maybe sometimes I just landed, you know, I landed maybe earlier today and I got 2 spots tonight. It's like, fuck, like, am I really gonna make it? I'm tired. Then you start to outweigh like what's worth it, like your rest or doing a 15-minute spot, you know? So even myself, I've canceled a few spots before. Just
how old are you?
27.
Man, you rest later, man. this
Yeah.
motherfucker's young.
Yeah.
Work.
But
Get
it's just-
paid.
It's just the problem is, like, if I was just working, it'd be cool. The problem is that I'm also partying and doing the rest of this
Good
shit.
for you, man.
That's why
Fuck
it
yeah.
fucks
You
in.
should. You should.
Hey, you know, enjoy it.
Enjoy that
shit.
We were just talking about this shit the other day. Like, a lot of us work so hard and for so long, and we don't stop working that we rarely take the time to enjoy living the dream that we've created. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
Or you get
Party within reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have a good time.
or you get to a point where you're like, you have that talk maybe with your old lady or your kids or whatever, and you're like, I need to get my work-life balance. I watched the TED Talk on Instagram, and then you spend 2 days away, and you're like, man, you're getting paid to tell dick jokes. This shit's hard to beat, man. Fuck my family. I'm like, bye.
When you work so much, it's hard to take that time off because
Yeah.
you feel like you're wasting time and like you could be, you know, bettering yourself in the craft or like,
Yeah.
you know, taking advantage of the opportunities or whatever. You know what I mean? Just keeping it moving. Like, at least for me, that's the way I get. I can't be in one place too long enjoying myself. Like, I enjoy myself on the road when we're doing tours and, you know, all the in-between shit. Because, like, you know, it's all happening at that time. But, like, to take time from, it's hard for me, man. I don't know how it is for you. But I would imagine when you get into that workspace where it's just constant momentum of work.
Yeah.
You don't enjoy the shit as much as you could have if you don't take like the time to stop for a second and just be like, damn, I got shit popping. Let me just enjoy it for a second and then get back on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I don't know, you know, seems like you popped kind of quickly, which is all talent, by the way. I don't mean that. But you just think about like that time you did that truck stop or that laundromat. There was this headliner who used to say in Indy, he would say, he would tell new comics, he'd be like, go do stand up in a laundromat.
Yeah.
He goes, people are never in a shittier mood than when they got to schlep their clothes. If you want to know if you're good, literally bring like a handheld speaker, damn near a ghetto box with a mic. Go see if you can get some laughs in a laundromat. I used to do that shit. It's fucking.
If you can get laughs in a fucking
I
laundromat.
swear to God, man, I would do that shit. Did that the first year all the time, just trying to figure out if I knew how to.
You know how bad
make
I
people
wanted
laugh.
to say try it in a New York laundromat. Just to see it.
Try it in
You
New
try
York.
it in a New York laundromat.
Try it in the subway,
Exactly.
son.
I'm counting down for because eventually you're gonna start talking about pizza. Like 5, 4,
Soon.
3.
Well, then you got Chicago and New York right here. You know what I'm saying?
Sister cities, right?
Nobody's more mad than people with laundromats.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, they got to be at the
man.
Get a
laundromat.
washer.
Nobody wants to be
Or I
there.
go to wash my dog's bed at. You know what I mean?
That's a good place to wash your dog's bed.
Oh, it's the best place, especially after they make a mess on it. Sorry.
Oof.
Oh yeah, sorry. They sanitize those shits. What would be your dream lineup? Like if you had like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, as far like dead and alive or just alive now?
The period.
Period. I would definitely want to like prime Cat Williams, prime Patrice O'Neal, which I mean I feel like he never really got into his prime. I feel like he died way too soon.
Yeah.
But Patrice O'Neal, Cat Williams, and then I would definitely say like, man, I'm a big fan of Richard Pryor. You know what I'm saying? Like I really love like he's one of those guys where I was like I was born in '96. This guy died way before I was born, type shit. Like, and he's still like I still go back and his shit is timeless. You know?
Yeah, it is timeless.
It's like wow, man. The way I can like not only relate but laugh and enjoy this fully is pretty crazy to me. I honestly I would say them three: Patrice O'Neal, Cat Williams, and Richard Pryor, myself. And I'd probably have one of the homies with me just to be able to enjoy it with me, you know. Shout out whether it's my homie Ralph Barbosa or
he's hilarious.
He's great, man.
Yeah, or Renee Vaca, either of the two. And I feel like it'll be a hell of a show for sure.
I like that you set that bar high though.
Oof.
You know, because that's all killers.
Yeah.
Legendary. You know what I mean? And you know, like to feel like I could rock with these guys, man. That's the mentality you got to have, the killer mentality.
Yeah, man. I come into every show like, and not to disrespect my peers or anything, but I come into every show like a lion. Like I want to be the one that's remembered, you know.
Yeah.
Even my homies giving me opportunity to open for him, I want to go in there and make sure people don't remember him when they leave this motherfucker. They'll be like, yeah, we bought tickets to see him, but Cam really fucking rocked that shit. And I've gotten those compliments now, opening for one of the biggest comics like Felipe Esparza or Fluffy, where people and I don't mean to no disrespect if they ever do see this, but them watching, you know, then people come, they tell me like I came to see the headliner, but you fucking stole the show, you know. In those 10 minutes when they did an hour, in those 10 minutes you stole the fucking show. So I love that shit, you know. Like we should have as we're still men and we're still like beasts, you know. And I want to be a beast and I want to be the fucking best. And now, obviously, I do respect my peers and everybody that came before me and paved the way. But at the end of the day, we're up there by ourselves, you feel me? And you know what I'm saying? I'm not out here doing half-assing this shit. Like, this is my life, you know?
Does it ever make you nervous when the other killers are watching you? Like, watching the set?
No. If I'm doing bad, yeah, like you know, it could go either way because then
it could give you fuel too, yeah.
Because to me, like all that, I use it as fuel. The more nervous I am, the more pressure I'm under, like pressure makes diamonds. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's like the more pressure I have, the more in my head I know that I gotta rip this shit up. Like that first show we did at the Ice House, I knew that Felipe Esparza was coming. You know, I knew you were in the audience watching. I knew there was people there that were, you know, whether connected somewhere. I knew people there that were there that I wanted to see me kill.
To make an impression on,
So
and you
like,
did that. Shit.
went up there and just ripped it up, and it's just like that leads to more stuff like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you only get sometimes you only get those. Yes, comedy is about being at the perfect place or the right time and the right place, but you could also be at the wrong place at the wrong time. You might be on an off day. You know that day I could have been off. I could have not been feeling the best, and you might have been up there like, who the fuck is this kid and why is he on my show? He fucking trash. You know, so it's like. I never take any opportunity for granted. Whether it's 5 people in the audience or sold out, I'm gonna give it my all every time.
That's what's up. How about you, John? What would be, aside from having his own headline, what would be your dream show to put together?
I mean, my Rushmore, and don't get it twisted. I'm not saying these are the best comics. I'm saying these are my favorite, who I consider to be. I think Richard Pryor is so far and above everyone else.
Right.
I feel like he's literally here. He's almost like Hendrix.
Everybody
and then there's
would
a
agree.
drop to everyone. So
Yeah.
you got Richard Pryor way the fuck up here. And then you got Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, and Bill Burr.
That's a hell of a killer lineup right there.
Those are good people right there.
They are, and
Red
that's the
Fox.
other thing.
What about Red Fox? Because to me, I love old Red Fox. Is great. He had those albums.
Those albums, dude.
The albums
Yeah.
were the best, man. He was killer.
I miss Bernie Mac.
Oh,
he
my
was
God.
great.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
He was a killer.
Great.
Dude, his set on fucking The Kings of Comedy. That was the first time I ever, and this is years before I ever thought I was even going to think about getting into this. That's the first thing in stand-up that I literally
That you saw?
watched.
Wow.
No, that I watched hundreds
of
of times, and I was just hundreds where I was like, I could listen to this dude read the phone book.
Yeah. I mean, his
God, he's so fucking funny.
His performances on Def Comedy Jam were crazy.
I ain't scared of you, motherfucker.
That was hilarious.
And I heard Chris Rock once talking about movie roles. And remember that little ass role he had in Beverly Hills Cop as the valet?
Yeah.
And he said it's not how big the role is, it's what you do with it.
Yeah.
And nobody stole more movies than Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
With what fucking Players Club?
What about
Friday?
Yeah.
I mean fucking Booty Call, if you
Yeah.
remember that shit as the judge.
Yeah,
God,
his timing was crazy.
he'd be in a movie for 3 minutes, but you'd remember that.
Oh yeah.
Thank God
and,
he was good.
And Robin Harris.
Oh.
Those guys were from Chicago
Yeah.
too, right? Both of them, right?
Yeah. Have you ever seen the HBO special Why We Laugh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's that scene where that big old fucking black girl who's wearing that aluminum foil looking tracksuit gets up in the middle of Robin Harris's show and he goes, "Where you going looking like a baked potato?" And the place just, dude, the roof came off the fucking place.
Hey,
man.
Robin Harris, man, he
Bebe's
went way
Kids.
before his time. Man,
Bebe's
but
Kids.
he was hilarious.
What is this thing you were talking about? I got to watch it. What is it?
Yeah, it's the history of black comedy, and I think it's HBO, and I'm pretty sure it's called Why We Laugh.
Yeah,
but-
Why We Laugh. Yeah,
Yeah,
On
it's
HBO.
it's one of the best.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's so fucking good, man.
man. Okay. What? I don't know. You probably won't drop a name here, but like,
Yes, he
is
will.
there any comedian that ever that ever like disappointed you in their set that you ever saw that you played with or
Went to see.
went to see?
I'm not gonna name drop. You're right, but I've seen comedians do jokes that I thought were my jokes. You know, I can't preview. I can't prove if they weren't or weren't who did it first. You know, but it's somebody who I really looked up to and that's already been named on the podcast. And it was just kind of like, damn. It was like word for word. That's my bit. You
I know it
like,
sucks, but look at it this way: it's almost like a sign of respect. Like people are already stealing from you at 27.
It sucks. It's because it's a compliment on one end to your writing,
Yeah,
but like write your own shit.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I got people back home that are coming up still. Now I got people that I left and they're doing private gigs, taking money, $250, $300 to do private gigs, and they're doing my jokes. They're doing my fucking set. I've had people get caught doing my set. They get lit up early, like people, because I got people back home that are still my friends. and they'll call me like, "Hey man, this motherfucker went up and did your joke."
That's ballsy because your shit's not generic. It's about you.
Exactly. Like all my shit is either personal experience or something that could definitely only have happened to me. You know,
You got a lot of big homies or what? Like I was just like, damn, bro. Like, because I heard some of your stuff. I'm just like, damn, fool. I was like, you got the big homie crowd.
But yeah, I definitely do got the big homie crowd. But the thing is that like, yeah, these motherfuckers don't even be big like me. For you might be different type of big. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking do no stealing your jokes.
Nah. But like you know, and they're doing my job. I'm just like, bro, that don't even go with you because you're not even. It don't even go. Like, you're not that. Some people just. I don't know what.
Some don't fit.
Yeah, some people just want to be famous. You know, they don't give a shit about the art. I give a shit about the art too much. I don't give a shit about fame. I've been broke my whole life, so shit. If I never got money doing this shit, I wouldn't even give a fuck. But like for you to think you're gonna shortcut your way through this shit and like you're gonna make it out to LA and make it, fuck out of here. You're not gonna make it. Not even back home. Not here. Not nowhere. You feel me? Like,
I mean, that's got to be the hardest thing because, like, you know, you put your mindset to writing these jokes and then to hear someone else is serving them up. It's like, that's, yeah, man.
But I mean, that shit, that fake shit, you know, is like, if it fades, you feel me? Like, when you don't see it go anywhere, eventually, I mean, I don't know how people do it. Regardless, like, I would feel like a fraud if I went on stage and did somebody else's joke. Even if it murdered, I don't think I'll be able to sleep that night. But for them to do it and then half-ass it, and now it even makes me mad because it's like, damn, you doing my joke and you fucking it up.
You still can't sleep at
Bombing with
night.
my shit. You feel me? Like, God damn it.
Some small skinny ass dude doing that T-Rex bit. You're like, motherfucker, you ain't even big.
It don't even make sense. I've also had people do my joke in front of me where they'll add themselves to my joke as a third person. Oh yeah, Ken went up here and he said he was at the movies. I was right next to him the whole time, and then he does my bit like in third person. I'm like, bro, that's not like a compliment. Like, why are you doing like? You didn't get no laughs because everybody knew already what was coming. Number two, I'm right here. You feel me? That's even more disrespectful. And then I think at that point, it's just people become delusional. Like they think it's not disrespectful. Or I don't know what the fuck goes through people's heads. But
Look, I'm going to kill with your joke.
yeah,
And then they
Front of
don't.
you.
and then they don't, yeah. And now we both look stupid.
And then have the balls to walk up after like, huh? They're like,
yeah.
no, motherfucker, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, like fuck that shit.
Yeah, man.
That's got to be mad awkward. I mean, like to have that, you know, there are some, you know, notable joke thieves out there. So I know it happens in the industry. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's got to be
been
crazy to
happening.
deal with it when you're at, maybe you show up randomly and you hear your joke there.
Yeah.
You know?
That happened to the guy I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about one specific person here, but to the guy I'm talking about, he had got hired for a private gig at a barbershop. And I had already heard that he was doing some of my bits. Now this happened randomly. It's crazy how shit kind of happens for you to like karma's always a motherfucker, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So this dude he got booked for this private gig at a barbershop. And then he booked like 2 or 3 other comics, right? And then the guy that owned the barbershop, he hit me up personally. He's like, hey, man, I know that, you know, it's probably a long, like it's a stretch, but it's my son's birthday. We're hosting it at the barbershop. And I want to know if you would be able to come and do a private gig. At the time, I happened to be in Chicago. I'm at home visiting my parents. So I'm not even doing nothing.
And you didn't know he was going to be there, that guy?
I didn't even know. So the guy tells me, he's like, I was like, what's your budget, man? Like, I'm in town. I could probably work with you. He's like, I'll give you $500, do 20 minutes. The fucking place is 12 minutes from my house. I was like, fucking make a quick 500, then blow it on the hummies, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it. So I pulled up. As I'm pulling up, I realized who's there, and this guy's on stage. He doesn't even know I walked in, and he's literally doing my bit. Like, he's doing my bit word for word.
Wow.
And the other comedians that were there, they're looking at me like, what
man.
the like, what's about to happen? You feel me? So then when before he even gets off stage, he sees me. And he's like, oh, we got a surprise. My big brother, Ken Flores, is here. Woo, woo. And I'm not going to embarrass him in front of everybody. And it's just like, but it was just like.
Oh, like you did me with my nipple shirt? Fucking dick, man. Fucking dick.
Boy.
So you clown the motherfucker who booked you.
Yes.
Who's already the struggling white dude on the man. I don't even.
He doing all right.
Tell us about it.
Nah, man. I ain't even.
Yo, you brought it up. The nipples.
Because I
are
fucking
coming
left,
out.
dude. I was leaving the house and I knew my shirt was too tight. And my old lady is younger, and you know they're more into that super tight, and I'm just not. And my rule always used to be like, if I can see a motherfucker motherfucker's nipples. The shirt's too tight. And I'm not normally tripping, but you were going to be there, Felipe. It was like a big fucking deal for me.
Right.
I'm leaving. And I've asked this bitch 8 times about this shirt. And she's like, you're fine. I wouldn't tell you to wear something out there you're not fine. And this motherfucker, just casually, like I put the whole thing together. Doesn't show me no love, no dab, no fucking nothing. Disrespectful as fuck with his young ass goes, man. And once you get a shirt that ain't so tight, motherfucker, like just casually threw that in. And it hurt my soul, man, because I knew he was right. That's why I was like,
It's my
yeah, man. And got the, yeah, man.
Observations are everything.
I'll tell you this, though, man. I played it off like it wasn't no big deal. That shirt went to Goodwill, man. I was like,
But you know, sometimes you gotta do something. Because you're a fucking good comic too. You're a great comic. So
Thank you.
Having to follow him, you know, you do 20 minutes
Oh,
of
stop,
hot ass shit.
stop.
It's like fuck. I gotta come up there. I can't. And I learned that from the time that black lady buried me. In Chicago, I was like, I can't just go into my fat shit. We all just seen a murder, so I gotta address it, you know. And I'm gonna try to dig myself out of this hole real quick, have them like me, and then I go into my shit.
Yeah.
The easiest way to do that is just to be like, just to
It's hilarious.
dog it. You feel me?
Attack
Like,
Yeah.
people
yeah,
before
tight
you-
ass shirt, get the fuck out. You know, something quick, but it's just like, his shirt.
Yeah,
was
but
tight.
motherfucker, you didn't do it for the crowd. You did that directly for me. I've been doing this a long time, motherfucker. It's like he turned
took it
me.
personal.
It wasn't even for the crowd, man.
That was a little warm up.
Yeah, ha, motherfucker.
You're a tough guy, man.
Hey, how do you deal with hecklers? Do you invite that shit? Because, like, you know, some comedians love that shit so they can dog somebody out there. But
I had a friend of mine named Al Jackson, one of the funniest human beings I've ever known. And he told me when he first saw me in LA, he said, hey, man, you've picked up some bad habits doing them black rooms. He goes, you've really got because the truth is, I never took my foot off the gas.
right,
Because the last thing you want is, you know, every now and again you start feeling good. You take a long ass pause and you can feel them actually start to look at you like, man, he looks like every fucking cop. So I would just go out. And the other thing is I was very insecure about crowd work. Like
Right.
I had a set that I would cling to, like that motherfucker at the end of Titanic. And it looked like I didn't stray from that. And so the few times I'd get into it with crowds, particularly, you know, Friday Late Show, man, you hear them Henny bottles hitting the ground before you even start. You're like, man, it's going to be rough.
yeah,
So I generally do not like, also I'm a very angry person because of my upbringing. So what I learned is, you know, somebody be talking, I just chop their head off. And this headliner once told me, he said, hey, man, they were talking about the fucking chicken fingers. And I go, well, fuck them. They shouldn't be talking. He goes, well, nobody else knew they were talking about the chicken fingers. All they heard was you cut their fucking head off and now you're a dick. So he goes, for future reference, if you're calling someone out or punishing them for a specific behavior, make sure that you let the crowd know
what it is.
Yeah. So I'm getting better at it, but I just, like, he's fucking fantastic at it, but I try to cut the first motherfucker. Like, I'm from the old school, like, Spartan. Like, the first dude that pops his head up, I try to cut that shit off. And everyone's like, oh, shit. I don't. But it's an insecurity thing, man, for sure.
100% though. I feel the same way about it too, because I used to be the same way with a set. Like, I used to have my set, and it'd be word for word my joke, and I wouldn't go on stage missing a word or saying any additional words. So if somebody was heckling me, I would just pray that shit went away. Luckily, I'm a big dude. I don't look like the regular, you know, skinny.
Yeah, I don't get
nerdy
heckled
comic.
a lot either.
So then people are like, they think twice before they say, unless they're really fucked up, they won't really fucking heckle me.
True.
They might talk amongst each other, but I never really had somebody yell at me while I was going through that phase of not breaking out on my set. Then eventually my homies were like, bro, you funny as fuck in person, one-on-one, or when we're shooting the shit, you're hilarious, but we're tired of going to your shows because you do the same shit word for word. We know all you, like my homies we'll get drunk and we'll start talking shit to each other, and I'll be dogging them so hard, they'll just start doing my set. They'll be like, so I go to watch Jurassic Park, and then that shit kills me because I'm like, fuck, like you should have known my jokes word for word. So they were like, you gotta break out of it. They're like, when you become yourself on stage and break out of this actor reading a script, you will reach new levels. And it's almost like the first time I did it, we recorded it, and I am quick. You know, sometimes you just doubt yourself, so you don't want to do it.
Right.
But then I would be on my way home, And then I'll be like, man, I should have told him this, and that. And my homies will start laughing. They're like, why didn't you say it? I'm like, I don't know. I just wasn't sure. So then I'll be laying down in bed like, I should have fucking said it. I should have fucking said it. So then I told myself, I was like, you know what? I never want to feel like that again. I'd rather say it and maybe have it fall flat than to be with that in my head. Would it have killed? You know, like you said about the baked potato joke about the lady getting up. It's such a quick thought.
That's a quick thought,
that quick thought probably made the special, you know?
Yeah.
It made the set even more explosive.
And what's crazy is you can write the best joke in the world, but nothing kills like
Improv,
that where you going looking like a baked potato. That will murder harder than any. I mean, the roof came off the place.
Yeah.
The camera was shaking, and it wasn't the dude.
Because it was off the hip.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that.
Yeah.
We all saw her get up at the same time. You know,
And that's a different kind of funny. You know what I mean? Because like you said, you can, be a dope writer of comedic material and deliver it and all that stuff. You go through it, and and the repetitive nature of it is you're delivering it like it's natural. But like you said, your homies see it, and other comedians know that. But when you are able to peel one out like off the hip, that shows like a different aspect. Like
it separates the greats. I feel like
right,
yeah.
And then, but I mean, now with the internet and the clips and stuff, what a lot of comics will do, including myself, including these new age of comics doing clips, we instead of burning through the material, we'll clip crowd work.
Yep.
You know, we'll clip crowd work, and the crowd work goes viral because people like to see interactions. But that also causes trouble because a lot of the demographic that follows me, again, I talked about the cocaine shit earlier. Most of the people that follow me are from the hood. We're the street motherfuckers. So now I got people coming to comedy shows for the first time. They don't know they gotta be quiet.
Right.
They just know I talk shit to people.
Yeah.
So now everybody comes in with the mentality like, all right, fat ass, you better fucking roast me because I'm gonna roast you. So then it becomes like hey, you should, like now everybody want to talk. You feel me?
Right.
So I'm still trying to educate the people and like, hey, this is a comedy show.
Yeah.
Let me do my job and we'll get to that. If it'll happen naturally.
Yeah.
But when you try to force it, or when I try to force it, it's never gonna get a good outcome as if it was to happen naturally. You know?
Yeah. Well, and I'm also, when you're putting a show together, you don't want them. You're literally training these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And you're letting them know. So while I'm on stage, I'm also thinking about the rest of the show. And it's like, if I don't nip this in the bud right here, they're gonna think this is a fucking town hall meeting.
Free for all.
There's a reason they hand one out at the door.
Yeah.
Or they don't hand these out the door. There's one of these motherfuckers in the whole room.
Exactly.
But watching somebody like you do that, it's like it almost creates a different level of comfort.
And I know some of these guys think they're fucking funny when they try to be heckling.
Yeah, they do.
And then they just get put.
Yeah.
Most people do not do it for insidious reasons, man.
Yeah.
Most people are they're fucked up. They're caught up in a moment. Maybe they wanted some shine. They got some, but no matter, 9 times out of 10, I feel like when you address it, humiliation works great. I learned that as a teacher.
Have you ever found a funny motherfucker out of it?
Yes. I used to do a hacky ass joke that I would never do now, and it was about you would see Mexicans working everywhere. The only place you don't see Mexicans working, I'd say, the only place you don't see Mexicans working, bookstores. And I would go, and I'd be like, because they don't like borders. So that's hacky as fuck. That's not the joke. But one day I was in fucking some redneck Trump, I don't remember where, and I go, the only place you never see Mexicans working? And this hillbilly goes, Mexico. Dude, I just took a 2-minute break because I was like, I can't follow.
That's good.
Nothing this motherfucker just said, man.
Yeah.
Swear to God, man.
Yeah, it never happened to me where like that's hilarious. It's gold.
That is hilarious.
But somebody, this comedian named Fudge, he was opening up for me on Riverside, big black dude. And he had just got back from playing basketball in China, and he has got this bit about him eating bull nuts.
Yeah, ideas.
And then he later on in his set he talks about how he's like, oh no, I don't drink or do drugs, which he doesn't. He said he's never drank or done drugs in his whole life. And somebody in the crowd was like, but you eat bull nuts. That's worse. And the whole crowd fucking exploded. I was like, you can't come back from that. Hey, they're right,
Yeah.
But yeah, usually, it depends on the heckler and what they say. Because sometimes they are, like, that they're paying attention. And what they're heckling is like, okay, it's related to what I'm saying. So I know you're paying attention. You're just being dumb and interrupting right now. Something like that I'll maybe address or try to dig a little bit into it. And then you also can tell the difference when somebody's just fucked up,
Yeah.
And when they're fucked up, I try to humiliate them. I kind of got like a few different things I already kind of got, but usually my go-to is just I'll be like, you know what, you just said that, like, so think about this. Look at the people around you. You guys are gonna be in the same car on the way home, and the only thing you're gonna have to say is, hey man, remember when I talked to ruin the fucking show for everybody? Yeah. So that usually gets like a big pop from people, and they're kind of just like, fuck, you know?
Yeah.
It's never good. And then, but then also there's like been times where I go for the, cutting off of the head, and I had this guy in Portland, where he kept saying some shit to me, and I was just like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, at that point, I was just like, I think I was like kind of sick too. So I was just like, bro, like,
You were tired of that shit.
yeah, like, let me just, I'm not even gonna, he was so far back in the audience too. It was just like, I couldn't really see him. So he couldn't really communicate well. And then when I would talk to him, then he would like, shut up. So it had me looking stupid. So I'm like, you know what, bro, just don't say shit else. Let me finish this shit and we'll talk after the show. And then this guy, he gets up, he's like, hey, bro, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just love you, and I can't believe I'm in front of you right now. So then I look like a fucking asshole. Like, God damn
Bro,
it. Like,
we were just talking about some shit like that.
That happens.
That this is the thing now. This is the thing now. It happens on any social media platform. Someone will let's just say you make a post, and then hey, you're the most worst piece of shit ever, blah, 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 blah. And then let's just say you answer and be like, hey, go eat a fucking dick. Follow someone else. Oh, man, you know what? To be honest, I love you, man. I just wanted to get a reaction.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
That's the new shit right now.
Yeah, they'll say anything. They do it to me all the time. They'll do it just on purpose because they know I'll react. And if people know you're going to react, they'll say whatever.
One of the thing about hecklers, I think as much as Live on the Sunset Strip is great, to me, Richard Pryor Live, in Long Beach, that's by so far and away the greatest special. I still think nothing's even in the universe. But if you look at that in the beginning, he's dealing with that fucking white dude with the camera.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And
in
instead
the front.
instead of clowning him, but not empowering him, if you look the way he handled that idiot and just let him take his picture, made the guy feel appreciated. The whole crowd, his likability went through the roof to even start his special because he was nice to this dork, but also told him like, all right, now go on, motherfucker. But clowned him a little bit. I was like, dude, that's the balance.
Yeah, that's the balance.
Of not losing the whole crowd, but also not letting people think that,
You know what's crazy about the Live on the Sunset Strip one was that, like, the first night, he, like, botched it. Like, he was coming back. Yeah. And, I would imagine this happens when, you start up at stand-up and then you blow up on that level where he's doing movies and all kinds of other shit, different opportunities that sort of took him away from stand-up for a time, and now he's back at it. And then he had his, all the roller coaster ride that is Richard Pryor's life, right? Mm-hmm. Going back, he was insecure on that first day, and, like, you could see him sort of, like questioning whether he thought he was funny or not. But then the next night he comes back and murders it.
Yeah.
That's a crazy ability to have, like to look back at the tape and be like, okay, I see where I went wrong here.
Well, also that guy, in terms of long form storytelling, that guy really had no peers. He was literally doing it as, now I also feel like stand-up's a little, not taking anything away from Young Bucks, and I'm not me, I ain't shit, but generally speaking, there's a blueprint. I mean, you still got to be brilliant, but you can get online. There's copious amounts of content. You can at least have some idea. Richard Pryor and them dudes, Lenny Bruce, them motherfuckers had they were Robin Williams. They were just figuring it out on the fly with cocaine.
As they were going along.
Don't forget Eddie Murphy, Delirious, and Raw, because those two right there can't be forgotten.
It was. I saw, what's hilarious is I saw Eddie Murphy, Raw came out. I was in Mexico. I watched that with a bunch of Mexicans when I was high school foreign exchange student, and I was trying to translate that motherfucker, and we were laughing so hard. But I didn't realize until I didn't discover Richard Pryor till later in life when I was in the Army, when I was in like early 20s, because the older black dudes were all listening to that shit. Raw and Delirious were nothing but Richard Pryor.
Oh, yeah? That's how you feel.
And well, he said it. Yeah. He's like, look, I didn't know what I was doing. I was a kid. I was jacking Richard Pryor shit.
Yeah.
And him and I think it was Robert Townsend were co-writing.
And Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Keenan Ivory Wayans, man. He was pretty honest about it. But that's why when I saw, as much as I loved those two Eddie Murphy specials, when I saw Richard Pryor live, I was like, oh my God, this is the original whatever that.
He was the modern template.
Yes,
of-
yes. He's the thing on the periodic table. He's the original element that everybody else was mixing from.
After him, definitely.
Yeah. And there's a great line in that. I think it's Damon Wayans in that Why We Laugh special where he says they were talking about stealing jokes. And they said, have you ever stolen anything from Richard Pryor? And it's just like this list of huge name black comics going, yep. And then at the end, Damon Wayans goes, motherfucker, if you ain't stolen nothing from Richard Pryor, you probably ain't that funny. I love that line, dude. I love that shit.
Yeah. He left such a huge mark on
The best.
comedy, man.
So fucking
Rest
funny.
in peace.
Yeah.
Word up. Before we do this next bit, let's check this out.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Ariana from Dr. Greenthumb's LAX. We're located at 5494 West Centinela. Open 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., so come check us out. We got everything you need from flour, edibles, pre-rolls, vapes, tinctures, whatever you want, we got it. So back to you guys at the studio. Happy New Year, and hope to see you guys soon.
Salute. Check out our Dr. Greenthumb locations in California. We'll put the address up at the end of the show. But check this out. Mota Helada is Blaze Mota's ready-to-drink cannabis-infused michelada made with non-alcoholic Mexican lager, tomato, lime, and spices. No mix needed. 20 milligrams THC per 16-ounce can and 50 milligrams of THC in the new Chichelada. It's Michi time, as they like to say. Blaze Mota is a line of cannabis products celebrating the proud traditions of Chicano culture that have shaped our great city in Los Angeles. Blaze Mota es hecho en Los Angeles for the world to enjoy. All right? Blaze Mota. All right, look, if you haven't smashed that like yet, smash it. Subscribe. Share it out. Don't bogart this shit because you know it's been funny. All right, and crack that all notification bell so you can get down with all the content we be dropping. We got another Soldier Story Cypress Hill tour recap coming this weekend, so make sure you check it out. I believe it's number 5, and we're about to open up the doors to the Insane Asylum. That means, y'all, you got a comment, question, shout out, suggestion. We're here for it.
Welcome to the Insane Asylum.
All right, let's do this. We got Fernando up in here asking Ken to tell the story of the nurse and free tickets.
Bring it.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, I was in the hospital twice this year. We talk about, partying too hard and shit like that. I actually performed at one of your shows right before I went to the hospital. I had blood clots. I had, so they had to put me on blood thinners. I had a high blood pressure I never really even looked into. I had fluid in my lungs. I couldn't really breathe. Like, I was fucked, and I ended up going to the hospital here in San Fernando Valley, and they ended up, they took care of me, and then they wouldn't let me drink any more fluids. They wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. Like, they had me like in a bed laying down because they were like, you could die at any moment right now. Like, this shit is dangerous. And you just don't give a fuck about it. And I remember I showed up, I was still on cocaine. And the doctor was like, you're on cocaine right now. And I was like, no, I'm not. He's like, I can see the rock in your nose, motherfucker. Like, it's right there. And I was like, oh, that's embarrassing. So then they put me in this room, and I was in the room for like maybe 12 hours. They wouldn't let me leave. And eventually, you don't know how important water is until they not letting you drink that shit. Now I'm just like, so now I'm asking to please go to the bathroom. Finally, there's one nurse. She comes in. So I was going to the bathroom to drink water from the sink like this because they weren't letting me have any water. So, but now I'm laying down. I'm hooked up to everything. I'm on all kinds of medication, so I'm weak. And I don't know if you guys ever been on all the types of medication, but obviously your system starts to it's fucked up inside, So I had like diarrhea and all kinds of shit. So I called this nurse to help me get up from the bed, and she comes in. As soon as she comes into the door, she looks at me and she's like, I know who you are. And she's like, we watch your videos all the time. Me and the nurses watching your videos the other day. She's like, you're the comedian. I was like, oh, yeah. She's like, oh, man, you need to hook me up with tickets, That's everybody's first thing to say,
Right.
I'm not, yeah, for sure. I'm just going to use the bathroom. Can I please use the bathroom? And at this point, only certain nurses will let me go. Most of them will be like, nah, doctor say you can't leave. So since she was a fan, she was like, yeah, I got you. So she starts helping me get up. And I'm wearing, the hospital gown, so I'm like, my ass is out and shit. And she helps me get up. And as I make the last, push to jump off the bed, I just heard my ass cheeks, clap.
Oh,
like a little clap, Because sometimes you fart quick and you hear them like clap, you know, and it's kind of gay and shit. But and when they clapped, I looked at her and I'm like, damn, she just heard me fart. But then we both look on the floor and there's like a perfect pile of shit. It looked like the emoji, you know what I'm saying? Like a little ice cream scoop of shit. And yeah, we both look at it and we both make eye contact. And I was just like, I'm gonna hook you up with the tickets. Like I got you with the tickets. Don't worry about the tickets.
Front row.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Yeah, don't move. We're gonna come clean you up." Shut up, bitch.
You better get her drinks too. You buying that
Nah,
silence.
man.
You like don't say nothing.
I hope I never see her again. That
She
shit
didn't
was
show up?
embarrassing.
She's signing up for the meet and greet, bro.
I never got it. Like I never got her the tickets because they ended up transferring. I was in ICU when that happened. Then I went to like general, and then
They don't do no meet and greets.
Man,
Man, show. Remember that time you shit on the floor?
Man, she's gonna one day she's gonna hear this story and she's gonna be like, "That was me."
She's waiting for the right time.
She's
Waiting for that first stadium tour.
Oh my God.
She's gonna react to this podcast clip and she's gonna be like, "This is me. I'm the nurse."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Watch.
She's gonna tag you in it and shit.
Man, as long as it's her and not the other nurses. I had nurses wiping my ass for the first time too. It felt good because the towels are hot. I never knew they were hot towels, but man, you know, it's so embarrassing because you're so vulnerable, you know?
That is vulnerable.
Yeah,
Shit.
like, fuck, man.
You were that sick, fool?
I was bad, bro.
Yeah,
He told you he was on deathbed. He
Yeah,
couldn't drink
type
water.
shit, yeah.
But he looked bad, dude.
Yeah, my uncle. My uncle was bringing me every morning. My uncle would bring me like diced pineapple and shit, or diced watermelon, and inside the watermelon there'll be like a little sack he'll put in there for me. And shit. I'm like, God damn, man, they're gonna kill me in this bitch, man.
Oh man. All right, Bolton.
Also, got to remind everybody again, put hashtag BeRealTV in your super chat to be entered to win a free pair of tickets to Sunday's Smokeout Comedy Show at the Ice House Comedy Club in Pasadena.
Let's go.
We got Raw up in here saying, saw these guys and Ken Flores live in Janesville. Homie is stupid funny. He took a shot with my sister on stage. LOL, can't wait to see him again.
Appreciate y'all. Shout out Janesville, Wisconsin. God damn. Small town with 4 great shows, man. I fuck with Wisconsin the long way.
Yeah, it's tight over there, man.
Hell yeah.
We got Midget Mike. He's asking, ask Ken what rapper gets no airtime in his car.
I think you just asked.
Rapper, shit. I mean, I don't like any like a lot of like no Playboy Cardi. I could never listen to like no Yeet, no Crate, no shit like that. That just it's just noises and shit. You feel me? I do like new style rap though. Like I'm a big fan of like Memphis. I'm a big fan of the Mexicans coming up right now. Like people like D Baby coming up in Houston, OGZ from LA. You know, I'm always supporting Raza. Obviously, you feel me? But yeah, anything that's just like noises and shit or off beat, I don't fuck with.
I feel you.
Yeah.
That's an honest answer. You know, every time we ask, or this guy in the chat room asks somebody that, everybody's reluctant to call somebody out. You know what I mean? But a lot of the times we get 6ix9ine because he's the easy bailout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was honest answer. That was one of the most honest ones.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well done. Hell yeah. All right.
We got Tequila and Tacos Eats. He's asking a question for the guest. Is 5 minutes a long time on stage?
When you first start, hell yeah. Hell yeah, 5 minutes is a long time. 5 minutes of being funny is a long time. Because you can stand up there and bullshit for 5 minutes and it'll go by fast. But 5 minutes of prime of comedy, good comedy, is a long time. And I think sometimes as the time goes on, it might be harder for you to put together a good 5 minutes because now you got 30 minutes or an hour of shit that you think is the best, and you don't even know how to. Like, what do I pick from here that's gonna be my 5? You know,
If you're bombing, it's the longest 5.
yeah.
Damn, man.
The long 5. I've seen people damn near have breakdowns in 5 minutes, man.
We got J-Max-C saying, what's up, y'all? Shout to We Don't Smoke the Same podcast. That was such a great show and super informative. E-Zone. Dosed up on some RSO 5 hours ago, and I'm enjoying the start of the ride.
Yeah, you heard it this morning. Yeah, this morning was educational. Shout out to all you guys that tuned in. And we also have an episode we did with you, Ken. Remember, I think you were actually fresh out the hospital when you came in, or it might have been before you went, but it was short after that one show. But that was a funny episode, too. It's up there now.
Yeah, I think it was right before I went. I had already lost my voice. And
there it is.
I thought I had lost my voice because I was getting sick. But in reality, it was because of the oxygen flow that was fucked up because of my high blood. It was all connected. It's all connected.
I do remember that because I remember asking, I was like, hey, fool. He's like, it's my voice, lost my voice. And I'm just like, all right, bro.
Yeah, and I didn't want to cancel, because obviously, like, you're not going to cancel, any of these podcasts, but I was just like, the fuck am I doing with no voice, you know? And then when I realized like my health shit, honestly, bro, like even if they told me like if you don't chill out, you're gonna die, which is basically what they did tell me every time I went to the hospital, I still haven't chilled until when I lost my voice and I couldn't do what I loved. That's when I took that shit serious. I was like, hell no, I can't not do comedy, you know, not even for the money, just for the, I just can't see my life without doing that shit. When I'm gonna go up there and do sign language, fuck that.
I hope you're taking it serious now, though, and like you're good.
Yeah, you got to.
Hell yeah.
You got too much good shit popping.
And we got Deckard Kane asking the table, is wokeness ruining stand-up and people's general sense of humor?
God, yeah. No.
I really think that that's greatly, greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think what you have is a lot of people who don't know that if you're going to attack a subject that's really dicey, you can do it. You just got to be smart. So when you look at like a Louis C.K. or some of them people, you look at Chappelle's new special.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm going to shit on handicapped people for fucking 15. Handicapped people. He give a fuck. And I was.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
I punched down.
I punched down. So I do think that, you know, it's more Me Too than it is woke. I think guys are a lot less likely to talk about sexual escapades and shit, which used to just be normal, like just natural guy. We like to fuck. Humans like to fuck.
Yeah.
I'd say it's more Me Too than woke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, Mexican. I do a lot of these Mexican shows. Mexicans don't give a fuck.
True.
If
It's
it's
at least
funny,
woke,
if it's
funny.
funny, it's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I think there's been a confusion with the woke shit and the cancel culture as well as the Me Too shit, because it's like it's not all the same, you know. No comedian got canceled for something they said and is not doing well right now. Everybody that got canceled because they said faggot or they said, oh my bad, I don't know if I can say that, but because they said a certain word. Like, they're still doing fine. They're still doing shows. It was the motherfuckers that was out here raping bitches.
Right.
And
That
that
part,
is like,
yeah.
like that's like,
Yes.
that's not comedy. That's just
Right.
a weirdo. You feel me? So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
they got to deal with the consequences. You feel me? Like,
Yeah, because they kind of mix all that shit
Yeah,
together.
they lumped it all together.
and that's what the problem is, because it's like, no, nobody's mad. And that's why like some comedians are mad because like, I can't say nothing. Like, no, you can. You'll be surprised the amount of shit you can get away with if it's funny.
Yes.
Say that word a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. When people are laughing, you got time to be offended.
Yeah.
People don't give a fuck, man. Funny is funny, and that's just what it is.
Also, if you take a gig from a private company, they're always going to have the right to take the fucking money away from you. Don't bitch.
Yeah.
Don't go do a college. Don't get a corporate sponsor. Don't do that shit and then turn around and go, oh, I got canceled. It's like, no, a business made the decision not to associate their brand with you, motherfucker. That's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. Yeah. Because, you know, liability issues depending on the shit you might say within the set.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I've lost many corporate sponsors over the years. When they come after the show, I already know the look on their face. They're just like, had a lot of fun. It was a good run.
That is over.
You're great. We can't have anything to do with this. Take our logo off everything.
Yeah.
Bye.
And we got 10 flowers in the super chat asking, Ken, please tell the story about the lady in the RV.
Oh shit, that's a long story, but I'll try to.
Cool.
I'll try to sum it up. You know, right now I've been working on this story on my set, trying to be able to become a storyteller, because as you guys know, my comedy is real fast paced. You know, so I don't really give people breaks. Like you said, we come out swinging, but I do want to become a storyteller. I do look up to storytellers. So there's a story that happened to me in real life, but I want to work on my set. But as far as for podcast form and for time purposes, the first time I ever came out to LA, I was staying with my uncle, who I was renting the room from. He was letting me crash on his couch while I was just out here, you know, trying like open mics and kind of just trying to see what I was gonna do with my life type shit. And me and my homie used to come out here all the time, right around the time I was about to start doing comedy. And I was really heavy into drugs, and I hadn't even met my uncle when I first came out and crashed at his house. I had just talked to him over the phone. I had never actually met him in person. And one day I called him because I couldn't afford a hotel, but I knew I wanted to come out to LA. I was like, hey man, would you let me crash on your couch? I know we don't know each other, but I promise it'll be, you know, I'll take care of you. You know, I'll pay you a couple $100 instead of having to pay a hotel the whole week. He's like, yeah, man, whatever. It doesn't matter. I got you. You can stay right here. You're my family and shit. I was like, cool. So I showed up to his house. He already had like a 24-pack of Coronitas waiting for me. Shit was like 10 of them was already missing. He was already fucked up. And we just start pounding him. and we're listening to music. He's my mom's blood brother, so like I'm still respectful to him, but we are drinking and shit. And then we start playing corridos. We played this song called La Peda by Los Originales de San Juan that refers to cocaine a few times. And then every time it referred to it, we just kind of kept looking at each other like like who's gonna pull it out? And eventually he asked me, he's like, what's up? You fuck with that shit? I was like, I wasn't gonna be like, yeah, I was like, well, do you? He's like, well, I mean, shit, so if it's around, it's around, I was like, all right, well, fuck it. I was like, is there any around? He's like, yeah. So he pulls out a little bit of coke, and I knew it was already a problem because it wasn't even in no Ziploc bag, it wasn't no clear bag. It was like in the corner of like a liquor store black bag.
Oh man,
some Vallarta bag, like some bullshit, like somebody ripped, But we did it, and we got geeked. We finished the whole pack of Coronitas, and then like around 3, 4 in the morning, I'm like, man, what's up? Like, what's up with another bag, And he's like, well, shit, you give me the money, I'll go get it, but I don't got no money right now. So I pulled out 200. I was like, how much is the 8-ball out here? He's like, 120. I was like, fuck it, here's 200. Go get it, and you can keep the change. My uncle doesn't even drive. He's got like 3 DUIs, so he jumps on a fucking on a bike, and he just leaves like at 4 a.m. Just leaves on a bike until like the darkness in the valley and shit. And I wait for him like an hour, bro. This motherfucker comes back like around 5 a.m. Throws me like instead of an 8-ball, he throws me like a fucking like a baseball bag of blow, So I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, he got hooked up. I was like, whatever. So I go to the bathroom. As I go into the bathroom, I start hitting that shit, and it just starts burning the shit out of my face. So I hit the other nostril just to make sure, and it's just doing the same thing. It's just burning and burning. So I come out the bathroom. As I open the door to the bathroom, he's already dressed. Like, he got a hard hat on, his yellow vest. He's going to work. I'm like, where the fuck are you going? We're about to party. He's like, I'm going to work, man. We got to work in order to party. I was like, I guess. I'm still fucking tweaked out. And I was like, what is this shit? And he looks at me. He's like, oh, it's kri-kri. And I was like, what the fuck is kri-kri? I ain't never heard of that shit. He's like, it's crystal meth, man. Like, as in, like, I was the dumb one, I was like, crystal meth? I was like, why the fuck you ain't tell me you got crystal meth instead of the coke? Why didn't you call me? He's like, oh, it's because they ran out of coke, man. And I was like, so you just made an executive decision and got crystal meth? Got crystal meth? He's like, man, if you don't want it, I'll take it. But I was like, no, fuck you. That was like, I got $700 while I'm out here. I already spent $200 on this. I'm going to do this. I was committed. So he went to work. I stayed there and did meth the whole day. Around 2, 3 p.m., bro, I started getting horny as hell. I don't know if y'all ever done meth, but that shit make you dig hard. And I didn't want to beat off in my uncle's house. I was like, that's disrespectful. And I'm looking around the house. He just got like America calendars and Virgin Mary on one. Like, it's a Mexican household, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't disrespect them like that. I got my cousin's big ass quinceañera picture right there. Hell no. So I end up just leaving from. I just Google escorts near me. That's just the first thing I could think of. Yeah, and I went on this website called Erotic Monkey, bro. And it's like a back page, kind of like an eBay style website. And I started looking through all the escorts. And at this point, I had already spent $200, so now I got $500 left. It's barely my first day. I was like, I can't burn another $300 and I have $200 left. So I put a filter on the search bar. I was like $80 or less. I was on a budget. So a group of these, bitches came up, and I just started texting every single one that didn't look like a scam, It got to a point where, like, at this point, I don't know who I'm texting, and they start texting back one by one by one, and now I'm, like, already in page, like, 62 of the fucking search bar, so I'm not going to go back to cross-reference pictures and numbers. I'm just taking the first one that's, like, fucking pull up. So this girl, she texts me. She's the one that's most consistently replying. She gives me her address. It took me to a Costco in Van Nuys, and across the street from the Costco, there's an apartment complex. There's projects and shit, and in between this two, there's a dead end, right? And it's all tagged up. It's kind of weird. So anyway, she gives me the address. I had Googled it. I get an Uber. As I get my Uber, my aunt comes home she was at work. I didn't even see her go to work. Like, we were just so tweaked out. She went to work and came back. And now I feel bad because I know I just been in there sweating my ass off. I know that house gotta smell like ass. You know what I'm saying? And I'm walking out, and my aunt's like, where you going? I was like, oh, I'm going to go see a friend that they want to meet up for coffee. He's like, I'll give you a ride. I was like, no, I got this. I get in an Uber at this, again, still hard as shit, bro. I get in the Uber. He takes me all the way down to the Costco. We go down the dead end and shit. One side is the Costco, the other side is the apartment complex. And he's like, the last thing he tells me before I get out the car, he's just like, be careful. And I was just like, fuck, I don't want to hear that shit,
From your Uber driver.
Yeah, and I get out the Uber, and now there's one side there's apartments, the other side there's a Costco, but in the street parked, there's like 10 RVs just straight down, people living in their RVs.
Oh, man.
So I'm walking, and now I'm tweaked out. So I'm walking down, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to walk towards the Costco. If she doesn't reply to me, like within the next 5 minutes, I'm going to just like get a slice of pizza and go home. So I end up walking like in the parking lot of the Costco, and as I look back, there's like guys coming in and out of this one particular RV, and in my head, I'm like, it's the feds. Like the feds are out to get me for the $80 pussy. You feel me? Like I'm getting fucked. And then, so I just start speed walking into the Costco, and as I'm about to go into Costco, I get a text message, and it's her. She's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm ready now. Come in." And I was like, "Well, what apartment is it? Like, you didn't tell me what apartment." She's like, "No, I'm in the RV." I was like, "Fuck." I was like, "What RV?" And of course, she points at the RV where the motherfucker just came out of. So now at this point, I'm nervous, but I'm off it, So I'm like, I'm going. So I'm walking down back the parking lot. I'm walking parallel to the RVs. I was like, I'm not gonna knock on the door, but if it swing open and she say something, I'm gonna jump in. Sure enough, as soon as I'm getting close to the RV, the door swings open. She said, "Hey, sweetie, come in. I'm right here." I walk in, bro. Like, I was so out of place that, like, and I'm a big motherfucker. Like, I had to turn sideways to go into the RV just because I barely fit through the fucking door, bro. And as I walk in, the cartoon is on the living room TV. I look to the other side, there's a baby on the high chair, bro. A baby, bro. So I'm just like, what the fuck? And my one side of me is like sad because that I'm doing this, but the other side of me is like, I'm happy there's not no feds in this motherfucker, And then she's like, go to the room in the back. So I go to the room in the back, and then there's a towel on the bed, bro. So I remove the towel because I'm like, oh, she probably just showered. I remove the towel, just cum stains everywhere. Cum stains everywhere. And I just put the towel back, and she's like, lay down and get naked. So I get naked, bro. It's like 3, 4 p.m., so the sun is beaming through the window. So I'm already a big motherfucker. I don't even get naked in front of my girl, you feel me? Like, I wait for the night to come or it to get dark. So now I'm naked, broad daylight, just laying there. My boner goes away. At this point, my dick is inside my body. You feel me? Like, and she tries to come in there and tries to give me head, but I'm just so, like, fucked up. I'm just like, nah, like, this is not going to work out. And she's like, well, how about we kiss instead? So I was like, fuck it. At that point, I just wanted to be held. I just wanted to be held at that point.
I just wanted to be held.
I go to make out with her, and before my lips make contact with her lips, this bitch starts sucking my titty, bro. So now she got my whole titty in her mouth. That shit was fire. I ain't gonna lie, she was killing that shit. And I just basically, I just start jacking off. I basically just paid $80 for this bitch to suck my titty and for me to jack off. And finally, I just got dressed. I walk out, say what's up to the baby, you feel me? Wish him the best, and left out of there, bro. But that's the story of the first time I tried crystal meth in the Valley.
Let's give him a round for that.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
He's high-fiving the baby on the way out.
Because they both suck titties.
Yeah.
The baby's like, right. That's my move.
Right, folks.
And we got Utah Hawk saying, I haven't laughed this hard in a long time. Great start to the year of Mamba. He's asking, do either of you guys hit Wise Guys here in Utah?
I'll be there this month, January 19th and 20th at Jordan, Utah Wise Guys.
There you go.
You should go, Utah Hawk.
He'll be there.
I've been there before, but Utah's pretty fucking white, even for me. Like, I'm keeping it real. It's weird. It's weird white.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like that.
Mormons and shit are out there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I don't mind like some January 6th shit. I know that's that's my
fun,
family.
though.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Yeah, the other shit get weird when they're too quiet. It's like,
That's true, man.
I like a little bit of racism with my white folks.
Or sometimes like in places like Utah and Jacksonville, like you heard my act, I do a lot of racial stuff.
Yeah.
Right? You they're racist because they laugh at the wrong part of the joke.
Yeah.
Like you be on the road and you take it for granted that everyone knows there's a joke coming about the Mexicans that makes it ha ha ha.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they laugh at the setup and you're like,
No, you scumbag.
oh, you motherfuckers.
You
And
realize
they know.
where you're at.
Yeah. You're like, oh man, this is about to turn into a rally.
That's some
man.
hella realization right there, boy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bring it.
We got 10 Flowers in the super chat asking, does anyone at the table listen to Death Grips, a hip-hop group?
I haven't heard him yet.
Yeah.
And we got Matt up in here saying, yo, shout out to Ken. Much love all the way here from Madison, Wisconsin.
Shout out Madison, man. I can't wait to go to Comedy on State in Madison, man. One of my dream clubs to play.
Fun.
Supposed to be the best club in the world. I cannot wait to go.
It's college kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got Matt again saying, yo, God bless to the Treehouse crew and everybody at the table.
Salute.
Amen.
And we got Hybrid Cypher saying peace to Ken Flores, Be Real Cali, and the squad.
Salute.
What up?
And we got Roger saying salute to the table. THC Crew and Snacks had a chance to see these guys sometime last year when E-Zone did a stand-up at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah, that was the show, man.
There you go.
Yeah, motherfucker did well.
We got so many people in the chat saying, I didn't know Cali Blaze's twin was
I
coming
knew
on the
it.
show today.
Yeah.
His gay
I knew
twin.
it. His gay twin. Yeah, when you screamed out like you knew the word for cowballs, I was like, uh-oh. I just stayed quiet. You knew the word for it.
Yeah, because I had him in Mexico for the first time. They call him Criadillas.
And?
Yeah, fantastic.
Ooh, terrible.
Legit, what they do is, I don't know if this is taking up too much time,
No.
but part of the reason I found, so the first night I go out with my two host brothers, I didn't have brothers in my family. So my Mexican family's got an 18-year-old dude who's cool as shit, and he's got two cousins in their 20s. So I'm 16, white kid from Indiana, like, TGI Fridays is balling out. Applebee's and shit. I've never seen. We go to a fucking steam room. We sit in a steam room. Then we go play soccer. Then we go to a cockfight. Then after that, we go to a restaurant. We have bull testicles, and then they bring tequila, and we all like salute the spirit of the bull before we go to the club and chase one.
Huh.
Dude, it was like some fucking indigenous.
They ate it with you.
And then
Yeah.
All right.
It was bad as fucking. We all had because they have them in hillbilly country. They call them Rocky Mountain Oysters.
Rocky Mountain Oyster.
I've had them many times, but
Yeah, they're good, man.
You've eaten balls too?
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big balls. They got to be big. I don't like them small balls. I like them.
The texture.
Them big,
Texture's got to be terrible.
Yeah, you got silverware joints. Them big motherfuckers. Oh, you got bitch sucking on your titties, but that's where you pull back? He got weird on bull nuts. He was like, I don't know about that.
That's two different things. Like,
Is it though?
I'd rather a prostitute suck my titty every day before I eat bull nuts.
That's what people
Yeah,
love.
I'd rather suck my titty before I'm eating balls. Definitely.
And we got Ask a Bum in the super chat saying B and Son call each other by their stage names. He's laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout to Psycho Beta Beatdown. Thank you so much for your super chat. And we got Hybrid Cypher asking, can I get an MK outstanding and a well done?
That must
That's
be.
dumb.
Well done.
There you go.
Mortal Kombat.
And the last one so far, we got Burnett asking, what are all your thoughts on Matt Rife?
I mean, shit. I mean, he's a comic. He's been doing this since he was like 15 years old. He put in the work. He's been doing it over 10 years. Finally popped off. Shit, he's getting the flowers he deserves, in my opinion. You feel me?
Yeah.
I mean, he's good looking. Yeah. Whatever. That don't mean shit. You feel me? He's getting, I respect him because he's a comic. If he would have been like a TikTok dancer and shit that just became a comic, I would have been like, fuck it. Fuck that fool, But he's a comic. He's worked for this shit.
I got a super quick Matt Rife story. When I first got out here, Guy Torrey is?
Yeah.
So I toured with Guy Torrey for years on the road. I cut my teeth opening for that dude, and he got me a spot at the Comedy Union, which was the urban club back in the day down on Pico. And Earthquake was headlining. So I get up, I do my thing. I do okay, not great. I'm there to see Earthquake, and this kid who literally looks like he's 12 years old gets up fearlessly and does his act. A white kid, like a child. Doesn't murder, but does well and has this closer about Justin Bieber. And I was just sitting there going, man, that's fucking crazy. And that was a raunchous black room, dude. Crazy, wild. And Earthquake brought him back up on stage and goes, hey, you motherfuckers need to get, how old are you? And the dude said 17.
Wow.
It was fucking Matt Rife.
Wow.
Yeah. And he'd already been doing stand-up for like 2 years. So I don't know him personally, but I got respect for him.
Hey, he's getting his.
He's
man.
getting his.
Salute.
Amen.
And every time I see him, I always tell him, like, hey, bro, I got to get the pic with you because you finna give me some bitches. And he always lets me do it. And it always works. Just tell him I say hi. I'm like, yeah, he said he want a titty picture.
It always helps. It always helps to know a pretty motherfucker. That's for sure.
That's for damn sure.
You got any more up there?
That seems to be it.
We want to thank you for your interactions and getting down with us on the Dr. Greenthumb show. And salute to my man John Stites and Kenny Flores for coming up and joining us at the table, man. Sunday, yeah. Shout them out. Let them know.
Yeah. So this Sunday, we're all going to be at the Ice House in Pasadena there. The great Paul Rodriguez. Kenny's going to be closing this motherfucker out. Jesus Trejo's coming. I think Martin Moreno provided his foot's eye. So, and we're going to have some more special guests. So come out. These shows have been really, really fucking dope. Hope y'all can make it out. They're fun.
Word up.
This Sunday at 7.
That's right.
Ice House.
Ken, you got any shout-outs?
Nah, man, appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. You're a legend, you know, in the game, and it's an honor for you to, you know, for me to be here with you guys right now. John, appreciate the opportunity. E-Zone, my boy, appreciate you always, and nice to meet you, New York. Here, what's up? And yeah, man, appreciate y'all, man. Sorry for the Wait is the name of the tour. Starting in Utah, and then going to every city in the United States, man. Tickets at kenflores.net.
Word up, man. Cali Blythe.
John, you got any more names you want to drop before I start?
No, just Freddie Mercury.
Elton John.
Yeah, exactly. Dwight Howard. All right, no. I'm just fucking around.
Shout out to Ken and John. It was great having you guys on the show today.
Man, thank you so much, man. This was
of course,
dope.
man. Definitely be. Happy New Year to everybody, man. Shout out to 5150s, Insane Asylum, family. Everybody who supports a brand. Much love.
Bolton.
All right, but you want me to rock the giveaway right now?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is the giveaway for the comedy show in Pasadena this Sunday. Oh.
Hybrid Cypher. Congratulations.
Dope.
Tickets.
It's a great show.
Word up. Send us your information to brealtvcontest@gmail.com, and we will send you them tickets.
Shout out to the Insane Asylum. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to Ray Morning Shot Films. Shout out to the Dominator. And what's going on, E-Zone?
Salute to everybody for tuning in. Both of y'all for coming by. Go to flavorsbyezone.com. There's a new merch drop and another merch drop in the works as well, too. Tune in tomorrow, 7 to 9 for the We Don't Smoke the Same podcast. And we're filming a new season of High and Hungry. So we already got like about 6 of them ready to go. So if you guys want to know a place, you guys want to recommend that, you know, you guys want to spread a little shine, let us know at High and Hungry TV.
Don't be afraid to take a chance on your goddamn self. Swallow that.
BeReal.tv